What's going on, guys? Well, here it is. Another night, another Fast Family League showdown. Tonight, it's the American Ethanol Cup Series versus the Piston Cup Series. Right back at Canadian Tire where we were last night. And as the same as last night, unfortunately, Kid Dynamite is MIA. So we got the one and only JRM Dohar going to step in and help out, as well as the one and only Wub Network. You might recognize that name and the voice anytime you catch any of the E-Spark races, whether it's the Truck Cup or Xfinity races. Dohar, Wub, thank you very much for coming out, hanging out, and keeping me company as these guys, navigate their way around this colossal Canadian track one more time.
Yeah, you got it. This is going to be a fun race today, and Canada is such a difficult track, but these teams are going to be up to the task. Round 2 has been great so far, and I expect more of the same today.
Absolutely, Dohar. We saw a great race last night between NNR and a little on the high side. No cautions. They went green, green all the way. We saw different strategy between just flat out speed in the one and only CGMX rows versus most of high side racing that tried to do it on fuel. I don't really know a whole lot of these Piston Cup guys. I know quite a few of the American Ethanol guys. What are you expecting out of tonight, sir?
Well, tonight I'm expecting probably a little bit of the same of what we got yesterday evening. I mean, the American Ethanol guys, there's a few of them that are very close with that NNR crowd. You've got guys like Asbill, guys like Tripp, Alpha York, Finesse, that are going to be really, working together to talk about the strategy, because let's face it, Pete, the odds of a caution are about 2 million to 1. We're not going to get a caution. That pace car is not going to get a workout tonight. We're just going to be talking about green flag racing here.
I think you're 100% right. They did go over the stipulations on what would be a caution. One of them is if you get wrecked by somebody, you end up into the wall face first, and you've got a red motor. You got to send the information over to the admin. They call the caution. You're good to go. Or there's a big old wreck and it completely blocks the track. That's a caution as well, which as a driver you're going to want to try to stay out of. So if you're coming off of one of these really fast sweeping turns and that track is blocked, you better on those binders very fast. You don't want to have any extra time spent down pit road. We're talking getting down pit road every 6 to 7 laps here, Wub. We got 10 turns to navigate over 80 different laps. So you're talking about a lot of shifting, a lot of off the gas, a lot of on the gas. What do you see coming up tonight?
Well, the most difficult turn is where the infamous jump is that we've seen so many YouTubers try before for some fun. But overall, just that turn in general is very difficult to navigate. Turn 1 and also the last turn, you can carry some speed, but not too much. It's just a lot of swinging, winding turns that you have to get used to. And I also just got confirmation that the Piston Cup team will be going with only 8 drivers tonight. So that's going to be a little bit of a challenge for them. My team, actually, the OMA, back when we were racing, in this round 2, we were able to do it with just 8 at Watkins Glen and able to move on. So let's see if Piston Cup, even if they're outnumbered at the start, can find some success as the race goes on.
Well, Dohar, we saw NNR get it done last night. Rory Breaker lagged out at the very, very beginning, and then Parzival lagged out a little bit later on. But NNR went into that as the top seed, the same thing as American Ethanol. They were going into this also as the top seed. But Piston Cup actually losing the people, it's going to be, I think it might be a little bit harder on those guys than it would be on American Ethanol to make up or keep up with the points. What do you think about that?
It's going to be really tough for these guys out here tonight. When you're just at a personnel disadvantage, regardless of where they would stack up in the field, it's just going to be really tough because you lose all those points. Now you got 2 less people bringing in points really in the final stage, which is where all the money's paid and the checks are cashed. So not having those guys out there is going to be a huge disadvantage. That means that these guys are going to have to sweep the top 4, maybe even the top 5 to get the job done tonight. So really for American Ethanol, you're looking for them to break that 377 point marker as we're looking at the bye battle that's going to happen. Still a lot of good battles left to go. Of course, East Park left to run and shake and bake, but you can never start talking about the race for the bye and the most accumulated points. So right now on the board, 377 is it. We'll see if American Ethanol can match or exceed that after this race.
Yeah, well, I just got a message from the one and only NNR Boehner, one of the officials in tonight's race, and these guys are out there qualifying. So as we're talking about these drivers, talking about the lack of or having a full, the full gambit of a roster, might as well go on down. I'll start off with the American Ethanol side, headed up by the one and only Alpha York. I don't believe he's actually going to be out there. I think Crackmaster took his spot. And he's going to be in either the 34 or the 3, so we'll have to see once we get out there. But then we've got the 2 of Finesse, another strong one that you mentioned earlier. You got the 4 of King Mathers, the American Ethanol Summer Series champ. We got NNR Asbel, one of the guys that ran the full gambit during the first stage. There we go. We got Abar. No, he's no slouch. Mr. Cole in the 14. The 16 of Honestly You're Bad. Krabby Soup in the 18. The 38 of Fatless Dig. And then the 88 of NNR Trip with their alternates or their subs of Baxt Bandit and Mike Honcho 774. If you've got the roster up, go ahead and take Piston Cup.
Yeah, all right. So the other roster here, taking a look at what we're expected to see tonight from Piston Cup. Like we said, they're going to be short-handed tonight, but their overall roster, you've got the team captain, Geico Gamer 48, who obviously is lined up to drive that number 48 Chevrolet. Air Just Cause, who also races in the eSpark Xfinity Series, will be driving the number 12. Mayo Bacon XD in the 17. Derrisher in the 24. Vibe Beast in the 37, Lil KVNG 161 driving the 42, Great Gamer Tag coming up, Wild Wreckneck in the 43, Smitten Payload 4 in the 47, the 77 of Allen Dynasty, and the 95 of Rage Omega, and the 3 substitutes lined up for this team is Lando's Milk in the 36, Joshua 1054 in the 49, and finally King Caesar driving that 73 Bobby Carter Toyota.
These gamer tags are on point. I tell you what, I love the variety we get. Wild Wreckneck and Lando's Milk.
It's man, the creativity, I used all last year calling the NNR races whenever it was during the Xfinity or their trucks anyway. I was always in awe by the amount of time and vision and everything else that goes into creating a really, really nice custom paint scheme. The same thing with these gamer tags. I tell you, I love reading up some of these sometimes. It's just. Yeah, it catches you, kind of makes you laugh every now and then. But as I mentioned, these guys are in qualifying, so we're going to go ahead and get our national anthem in. One quick note, Panda Girl, thank you very much for being out there. Thank you very much for following. We're going to have some more about you and our buddy GRM Joker here in just a little bit. But ladies and gentlemen, please stand and remove your hats. Here's your national anthem. right, and here we are. We are back at it. Thank you very much for coming out, hanging out, chatting it up. Definitely appreciate y'all all being out there. Big Tuna, yeah. You'll see Vols soon enough. Magic Mike, good to see you. I gotta think American Ethanol will definitely have a very, very good chance of getting it done tonight. Matty Ice is set. Asbill will sweep. Definitely very, very fast driver. Very, very possible. We'll have to see. Robbie, what's happening, man? Good to see you again as well. Monty saying, let's go Mathers. So all these guys out there, different people, one sounding voice, though. A whole lot of people are saying American Ethanol is going to get it done here, Wub.
Yeah, I
Wub,
think
you
they
back?
are.
Okay, there you go.
I guess I'll talk for Eddie. I don't
Okay.
know where he's at. We joked before we went on air that I was just going to talk over Eddie the whole time. Maybe he took it to heart. I don't know. But I mean, look, Piston Cup's going to have they're going to have an uphill battle here. This is kind of similar to what we saw yesterday. We saw strategy take fold, but now the disadvantage for Piston Cup is, well, American Ethanol is going to know what the strategy is. We're at the same exact racetrack, same exact lap count, virtually the same exact race. So we'll really see what happens because, I mean, again, kind of like NNR, up at the top of the board on this American Ethanol team, you got some stud muffins, man. And I'm not just talking good looking, I'm talking fast on the racetrack. You got Asbill, you got Crackmaster, who I know pretty well from Checkers and Wreckers. You got Mr. Cola, who's another fast guy from Checkers and Wreckers. He's like the road course ace over there. You've got Finessed. You've also got Fatless Dig, and a lot of these guys here that are just going to be so off the rail. I wouldn't be surprised if, Pete. It's early on. I know everybody's saying that they're going to get Asbill's going to get the clean sweep, but I think American Ethanol might be the first to try and go for an actual sweep, and get all the points that they can in the stages and finish 1 through 10. We'll see what happens. I'm not making that prediction. I'm not even thinking about cashing that check, but I say it's a possibility.
Yeah, it's absolutely a possibility. And again, in case you're just now joining us, I mean, Piston Cup, they're starting to race with a handicap as it is. They've only got 8 drivers out here, while American Ethanol is fully staffed. So it's going to be an uphill battle. But I tell you what, Piston Cup, they know that. We were talking to Gecko Gamer before all this started, and he said these guys are going to go out there and try every possible thing to go ahead and get it done. We're in for qualifying right now, keeping an eye on the 43 and the 17 as they just completed their laps. Here's the 24, or the Irish rear. Okay, fair enough. And just going to kind of keep up and keep going around the track. Dohar and Eddie or Wub, did you guys get an invite to qualifying? Do you want one, or just want to kind of hang out until we actually get the actual invite to get into the race?
I'm in there. I'm in there watching. Yeah.
Oh, okay, great, cool. All right. Well, it looks like there's no more action out there on track, so I assume that we're just waiting on the timer, although I just saw somebody take off.
Just 2 cars flying for, I don't know why, but I guess Ford's going to lead them around to finish it up here if the timer hasn't queued off. So we should get some racing in here pretty soon. Be interesting to see. I was watching Asbill as he did his qualifying lap, and I can't speak for the first half. The second half, man, he was just ripping it. But going into that last turn, he got to the throttle a little too soon and was fishtailing that bad boy, and pretty much had to ride against the inside wall and got back to the throttle late. So we'll see if that affects his starting position. And I saw a couple other guys just get a little bit off course and do some excavating around. So these guys already having a little bit of a handful in qualifying. It's going to magnify, once you get all 20 of them out on the same racetrack.
Yeah, and also, when tires start to wear as well, it's going to be interesting. This is just 1-2 laps. When you think towards the end of the run, the car will be lighter with the fuel, so you'll be able to go faster. But as the tires begin to wear, it's going to become even more difficult. And it just fascinates me as someone who likes to run tighter setups at the road courses, the people who can make it stick that run like these 8s and 9s on the pre-builts at the road courses. I know people were doing it at Watkins Glen as well in a couple of the races earlier in this round. But like it just really amazes me when you're able to handle a car in that way. But the one problem is that it makes your car hard to handle as the run goes on. So it'll be interesting to see how these guys manage their tire and see what kind of fuel strategy we might see as this race goes on tonight.
Yeah, fuel strategy was a huge thing last night. NNR was all out there going, guns blazing as fast as they could, and then all of a sudden starting to see the high side guys go an extra lap and a half, and I think NNR caught on to that eventually and started to back down the pace as well. I mean, the fastest guy on the track, without a shadow of a doubt, was CGMX Rose, and he was actually just riding there behind lap down cars in order to save fuel. So once NNR caught on to what they were doing, they matched it, and they ended up pulling max points almost every single stage. But there were a few guys in there, like Obi-Wan, that we're right up there as well. Same as Noggin, he was right there as well. So they they did their thing, just weren't quite able to meet the speed that NNR had. I'm curious to see if we're going to see that second verse, same as the first, between American Ethanol and Piston Cup, or if it's going to be a completely different show where everybody just goes all out.
Yeah, and the other concern that teams have to keep an eye out for is the false cautions that we've seen that a couple of teams have been penalized for already this round, because they've been strict with the cautions and just how they work out here at the road course races, so we don't get too many, because those caution laps at a road course are just seemingly endless, and that would especially be apparent here at Canada along hilly track. But like, we've already seen two teams suffer significant penalties from false cautions upon review. So these teams have to be really conscious about when they request a caution that there has been significant contact, that there has been engine damage, so they don't get affected when the points totals come out the next day.
And to tackle onto that, Eddie, I mean, we've just seen a plethora of penalties for various reasons so far this round. So everybody, whether you're winning, whether you're losing, just needs to be cognizant about that. Of course, last night, we not only had a race cut short just due to raw server issues, which, just so everybody knows, in a public service announcement, I did talk to Elliot Henderson. He's aware of the situation. They're having engineers look into it and describe the situation to him, because we had, our lobby had issues around the same time. Luckily, ours kept going. But I know a lot of other people that were running online at the same time on Xbox are having issues. So they're aware, they're looking into it. But, on top of that issue, Pete and Eddie, there were penalties for reckless driving on both sides in that NAOR FFRL race that resulted in some pretty steep penalties. NAOR, of course, still getting the victory by 2 points because both teams were penalized equally. But, penalties are really starting to take the precedent in this round. Pretty much every race has had them except for the NNR race. So guys just have to be really, really careful about what they're doing, because what they do in chat, they can't go after the admins if there's not a caution being called, or things of that nature. They just got to be really careful about how they are holistically in these races tonight.
Yeah, they really do. And it's funny, we're sitting here during practice, and I'm watching guys doing donuts, and I'm watching them trying to break through sections of the wall. I don't know if these guys have actually done it before or tried it out, but if you actually do a donut and you go backwards on track, you're going to have to go to the back of the pack, because it'll kick you right out of the lobby. Like right now, the 10 of Aswell is just doing burnouts. If he goes backwards the wrong way for too long of a period, he's going to end up starting in the back. Now, he's lucky enough to be one of the faster guys, but, man, you don't want to have to kind of drive through 18 or 20 cars if you don't have to. Speaking of Advil, I just read that in chat, sorry. Asvel, the 10 car of Asbel is going to be out here tonight showing a little bit of tribute to GRM Joker. We talked a little bit about him last night, had a picture of the 97 truck up there, as well as, rest in peace, GRM Joker. We're still definitely, thinking about you very much. I mentioned earlier that his girl's out here in chat tonight as well, so please know, Panda, we are definitely all thinking about you. Aswell's going to try his best to put that 10 car in victory lane. And not only that, Fatless Dig, he's a driver here for American Ethanol. He has gone and put up $50 towards whoever can pick the correct top 3 before the end of stage 1, as well as the eventual winner. So if you've got a great top 3 in mind, please put it on out there in chat before the end of stage 1. And if you're also the one to pick the correct winning team in the same time frame, you're not going to get the $50 though. Here's the kicker: that $50 is going towards the GoFundMe that was set up for GRM Joker on behalf of American All, and I'll probably add a little bit to that as well. So again, guys, this is all for fun. If you get it right, the donation will be made in your name. So please, 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 let's all have some fun. Get your picks out there. Who do you think is going to end up in the top 3 at the end of the race before stage 1, and who do you think is going to be the eventual winner? Let the the conversation flow. Please, y'all, be nice. Please don't spam the chat with "Bring Terry back." I see ya. I know Vols wants to be back. If you keep up with him, you'll see him again very soon. It'll more than likely be on, working with me personally on the NNR side. But guys, you don't have to do it here. This is all about the American Ethanol Cup Series and Piston Cup. Trying to have a great time, get a great race in. All thinking about GRM Joker. Let's have some fun, y'all.
Absolutely. And while we're on that, Pete, I found him. We were looking high and dry, and he was actually underneath the grandstands, hiding out, eating a corn dog. I found Kid Dynamite. I found him. So I'm gonna step down, and I'm gonna go help these guys, be an extra set of eyes on the racetrack. But a pleasure for you guys having me in the booth for a little bit. But Dynamite, it's back to you, brother. Go and call this race with these boys. You're gonna have a lot of fun up there.
Thank you, Nohar.
Thank you.
Kid Dynamite, how are you, sir? Welcome.
Took me a while, yeah. I was looking for a party invite, never got one. I was confused. I was like, you know what? Probably check the Discord, and it was on the Discord. So I was like, oh, all right. Well, that kind of makes sense. So I'm here now. So ready to get this thing going.
Qualifying is done. These guys are getting set back up. Just waiting on the invite to get into this race. I will have the stream of the one and only NNR Asbel up to help me out with laps and fuel and anything else that we may see through his eyes as the race goes on. Again, about 80 laps tonight, 3 stages, 6 to 7 laps on a tank of fuel. Everybody will take advantage of new tires when and where possible. We'll have to see. Fry Dog, just waiting on that fight. I see the timer's about ready to finish on up, and then I'll get the invites out to Kid Dynamite and Wub. But we're about ready to go. Yeah, Wub, can you get a hold of Fry Dog, please? Oh
boy.
Yep.
All right. I have the precious invite that I can send to you once it's ready to go.
All right, yep, please send it on over. They're already loading in. You got me?
Yep. All right. Here we go. It is coming.
All right. Boehner just sent me an invite, so we're going to go ahead and get in.
Yeah, I need an invite for you guys whenever.
I think I found you and sent you an invite or sent you a friend's request earlier.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you find him, Wub?
Yep, I got invites to both of you. All right.
Awesome. All right, so here we are getting loaded in. We're still coming to the green. It's going to be the 2 of Finesse with the 10 of NNR Aswell to the outside, going under the bridge. Here we are ready, Wub, going into turn 1. I'm going to give you a little bit just to get loaded in, but it's going to be the 2 of Finesse that's going to come off the outside line of the 10 of Aswell. First 10, and then we got the 16 of Honestly You're Bad, the 43 of Mr. Cola. So right now it's going to be an all American Ethanol top 4. The 38 of Fatless Dig with the 88, the 43 of Wild Wreck Neck. Fair enough. The 4 of King Mathers, 88 of NNR Trip, 24 of the Irish Rear, the 11 of A-Bar. We got the 77 of Allen Dynasty. We got the 37 of Vibe Beast, 48 of Gecko Gamer, 34 of Crackmaster, the 12 of Air Just Cause, 95 of Rage Omega. That's an awesome gamer tag. 18 of Krabby Soup, 17 of Mayo Bacon. And then we got OK Sideways. He's going to be our pace car tonight, just working his way all the way back around one time. That way he doesn't lag out as he sits at the end of pit road waiting. And gentlemen, we are back up front between the 2 and the 10. What are you seeing here, Dub?
Well, I see the 10. He just got right past the 2. The 2 out-qualified him just barely, but the 10 got through, and now Aswell is trying to set his sights and just get away from that 2 car. But right now, American Ethanol is looking really strong. There was a little bit of trouble in that turn that I talked about earlier where the infamous jump is. There was a little bit of 3 wide, a couple cars bumped and banged, and you can expect that on various restarts tonight. But right now, the 10 and the 2 have just gotten away. Looking a little further behind, you've got the 16 car running in 4th place. You've got Mr. Cola in 4th. And the 14 and 30 got a little bit loose. He'll settle down as it's still 1, 2, 3, 4 here for American Ethanol, getting off to a great start as the 14 goes wide. The 16 takes 3rd. Over to you, Pete.
Yeah, 16 was able to get on by again. That's going to be the 16. I think I'd actually already passed him. It's going to be the 16 of Honestly You're Bad. So we're going to make that a top 5 American Ethanol. Now, Kid Dynamite, you're a little late to the info. Piston is starting off with a little bit of a handicap. They thought they were going to have a full roster of 10 drivers on hand tonight. They're actually starting with 8. When you're coming across one of the top seeded communities in American Ethanol, so we're starting to see a little bit of room issue here. It's not what you want. It's not what you need. You need max points when you're going across or coming across a team as strong as American Ethanol is.
Yeah, that's definitely not how you want to start off a race. You definitely do not want to start off a race being a handicap like that. But there was a race I commentated last week between the OMA and the Wolfpack Racing League. And OMA, they started off with 10, finished the race with 6, and were still able to get the win. So it is still kind of a handicap to start off with 8, but as long as they can keep 8 here and still be competitive, they should be all right. But definitely, they're really going to have to push the gas and really try to be competitive because they only have 8 drivers, meaning they can't fill the whole top 10 with their whole league.
Yeah, I can quickly add to that because I was in that race with the OMA, and we actually only started with 8 on the track, and it was down to 6 by the end. 2 of them lagged out. But our goal from the beginning was just to try to maximize on stage points and get a good advantage from there, which we did. And ultimately, even though we lost a couple spots as the race went on towards the end, a couple misfortunes towards the end, but we were still able to maximize on points and hang on. So really, what the Piston Cup has to focus on is get as many of those guys into the top 10 and keep it competitive, or at least maybe even try to gain the lead through stage points. We know how difficult that's going to be with how talented American Ethanol is, but that's got to be their goal heading through stages 1 and 2, and then just get your cars set up for a long run in stage 3 and try to get your best finish possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Mac, at the top of the leaderboard is where max points are. That's where Piston Cup really needs to be. Right now, I believe it was still held very, very tightly by the 10 of Aswell. He's been able to set sail. They're about 4 laps in, so we're gonna start to see green flag pit stops here very soon. Kid Dynamite, these guys are running between 6 and 7 laps per tank, depending on whether they're going flat out or if they're trying to save a little to try to cut one full fuel run out of each stage. We saw what was it on the high side? Tried that last night against NNR. It almost worked, but I mentioned earlier NNR was able to pick up on what they were doing, and NNR just kind of persevered in the end, even though they were also down to just 8 cars after 2 cars lagged out kind of early. So, Kid Dynamite, do you know anybody in the either of these teams? Do you have a horse in this show that you're particularly keeping an eye on?
As I look through the field right now, the 24 of Irish Dreer, he was fast in the race that I commentated at Charlotte in the first round. I forgot what league they went up against, but he was pretty fast. Right now, he's sitting kind of deep in the pack right now, so he might not be that good of a road course tangler as they call it. But him and the 48, the two guys I'm really looking at most, because those two guys were very fast in the race that I commentated back in the first round. But we'll see what happens because they're sitting deep in the pack right now, and they only seem to be falling back even farther. So hopefully as soon as this race kind of gets going and we get deep into stage 2 and all that, they might be able to kind of pick up on the track a tad bit and really get things going for them.
Well, keeping an eye on that 24 of Irish Rear that you were just talking about, he was almost able to get underneath that 48 coming through the hairpin, but not quite able to do it. 48 was able to get back on the gas just a little bit sooner, but he's doing the right thing as I'm watching him kind of get 2 tires up on the rumble strips and 2 tires over on the road. He looks like that 24 is going to be the first one to go down pit road.
Yeah, I do have a couple updates. The 14, by the way, of Mr. Cola, who was running 4th, lagged out. So American Ethanol now only has 9, so their advantage of 2 drivers has dropped to 1 early, but of course he'll get last place points. But that is a tough break for them. He was considered one of their best drivers heading in. The 24 is on pit road. He got a penalty, a stop-and-go penalty a couple laps ago. I think this pit stop is isolated from that, though.
Yeah, it is. Boehner actually put out the chat that the 24, the 18, and the 77 all so far have had to serve a stop-and-go penalty. Not quite sure if that means on pit road or just out there on track, if they might have cut the course a little too much. The admins were very, very clear in the team meetings. You've got to have 2 tires at least on the track at all times. You can come across with the rights or the lefts on the rumble strip, or trim the grass just a little bit, but you have to have at least 2 tires on the track at all times.
Yeah, it looks like that 16 car is coming down pit road. He actually ended up passing NNR Asbel, who actually was going neutral down the back straightaway. He put his car in neutral to try to stay out another lap. I'm looking on his stream right now. He has 1 lap of fuel left, and he's trying to make it stretch all the way. So we'll see if that will help him. I know in my testing here in the past in other leagues, I know that if you run out, if that thing hits 0 when you're down the back, you should be able to coast it all the way through before you start sputtering. So I think Asba will be all right in terms of that, as long as he can make that last lap of fuel stretch to the back stretch. But yeah, he was in neutral all the way down the back. The 16, if honestly your bad, ended up taking the advantage there. And I thought maybe he was just slow, but no, I just looked down and he was saving fuel. So interesting strategy from the 10 car.
Yeah, very. I'm actually watching him right now, still sitting in P1. So I'm thinking whoever you saw get by him was actually going ahead and getting a lap back. Looks like Asbull is back under full power. Very, very slow through the corners, making sure that he doesn't garner any kind of a penalty, and he's going to go ahead and take it down pit road right now, coming off that last bit of a sweeping corner, trying to woe it down to, I want to say, about 40 mile an hour. It could be a pretty hard task. If you get on those binders too much, might break loose, send it around. We saw it happen last night, but leader's in.
Yeah, totally. And I got another update. It is now 8v8, so the 18 car of Krabby Soup also lagged out. So now American Ethanol has lost 2 drivers as well. So suddenly we are back at even strength. So a huge break here for Piston Cup. Now let's see if they can use fuel strategy and track position and try to maximize on stage points.
Well, yeah, I mean, 8 versus 8, mano a mano. We'll have to see as green flag pit stops continue to happen. Kid, it's been all green flag. We've seen one or two cars go around, not really collecting anybody. We are, I want to say, right about mid-stage. Everybody should be able to make it with just one more pit stop. Asbel has had the lead so far as the picks continue to flow into chat. What are you seeing out of that top four, top five so far?
Right now, I'm seeing a lot of guys. They're very consistent with how they hit their marks, and they don't seem to make a lot of mistakes. As I'm watching the stream of In and Out Asbill, he does not make a lot of mistakes, and he's really good at hitting his marks in each turn. And I think the real difference is how he handles the hairpin in turn 5 or turn 6. How most guys kind of get up on two wheels a tad bit. He's really good at kind of making sure that he doesn't overdrive that corner and lose time by going up on two wheels, because this game is really funky when you get to that part of the track, because if you take it too hard, your car can get really out of whack. But he's been taking it very good. The 16 has also been fast as well. Him and the 10 have really been kind of the two lead guys right now. But that 2 car, do not count him out either. He's also been strong as well. I feel like when we get a caution or when we get to the stage, I feel like once we get these guys bunched back up, we should see a very interesting battle in the top 5.
Yeah, you figure between the stage break and the pit road, stop or the pit stops in order to fill back up and grab 4 brand new Eagle Feel Goods, everybody should have their full setup in by then. But Wub, when you come to a road course, you normally don't make a whole lot of changes to the air pressure, the wedge, the tape, and whatnot. The presets, although they vary from, I mean, I heard some people last night as low as 3 and as high as 9. Where do you think most of these guys are probably going to be sitting if they're among the fastest around Old Canadian Tire?
Yeah, I raced at Watkins Glen with the OMA last week, and I'd say this track has a lot of similarities in the fact that it's a high-speed road course that doesn't have too many high braking zones.
Exactly.
So I think a looser setup could work. So I'd expect a lot of guys running a looser setup, maybe around a 5 or a 6. Personally, I don't see how you run a 9. But you know what? There's people out there. There's some crazy guys out there on the track who can handle that 9 all the way to the end of the run, even on worn tires. So go for it. But, I think somewhere around a 5 or 6 is where we'd probably see most of these guys out there right now. But overall, I'm actually pretty impressed. Most of the drivers seem to have a pretty solid handle. Nobody seems too loose or too tight. We've seen a couple isolated spins, but for the most part, these guys are staying on the racetrack, which is what you really want to see in a road course race.
Yeah, the higher you can go and still hold on to it is probably where you're going to be. You're going to be bad fast. You probably won't have to make too many adjustments to free up that chassis. And looks like BLM Trump just put out there in chat, he knows for fact that 10 car is on a 9, that good old boy. So he's saying that that 10 of Asbel, who's running that car in memory of GRM Joker tonight, he's out there running a 9, and man, he's definitely putting it through the paces.
Yeah, Go ahead.
He's definitely wheeling that thing around right now. Again, as I'm watching the stream, he's really just. And I'm surprised at how he's running 9. I'm assuming he's running a wheel because his turns aren't jerky as if he's on a controller. Just by the way he's taking these large sweeping turns, he's not tapping the analog stick. So obviously, it looks like he's on a wheel, and I think that's probably the one way how you can tame a high setup like 9 is if you have a wheel, because you have a lot more control over that car. But right now, that 16 car, he's really just kind of kept the gap on that 10 car. I thought maybe the 10 was going to start to catch up a tad bit, but right now that lead has been sitting at a good margin, about a couple turns or so. That 16 car has a gap on that 10 as we as we're getting into the next fuel or the next cycle of green flag pit stops here.
Yeah, 10 car right now sitting in P2. Next time he comes on by the start stripe, I'll go ahead and grab us all a lap count. Let me go ahead and actually bring the boom a little bit closer to my mouth. That way I don't sound like I'm broadcasting from the bedroom on the other side of the house. But it's saying that the 10's got about 3 laps of fuel left in the tank. Sitting in P2, it's kind of strange. I almost wonder if maybe he got a little hot into pit road. But no, I think if that was the case, he would have ended up a little bit further back. But yeah, this is absolutely on a wheel. He definitely knows how to handle it. Being the the broadcaster for NNR. Asbel had a very dominant season last year with them. He won both the Truck and the Xfinity Series championship. And Wub, we both know NNR. I broadcast East Park with you, but East Park and NNR have kind of had a hand-in-hand friendship for about the last year or so. And Asbel has also ran in a few East Park races as well. He's been fast everywhere he's landed.
Yeah, and everybody's been talking about the SXRL or eSpark as the people who are really the championship favorites as we boil things down. But I would not count out NNR just because of the amount of talent they have across their roster. It's not just Asbel, it's a full-on team effort. They might not have like the pro leaguers out there, but they have a heck of a group out there, and they're really proving it right now. And what I was going to say earlier, just wanted to mention, we're going back to the loose setup debate. I will say, last week at Watkins Glen in the OMA race, Fit Skydiver won on a setup 9, so it's certainly possible. And if the 10 is on that setup 9, he is certainly wheeling it right now and doing a great job. I know the 16 is up front right now. That also could have been caused by the 10 saving fuel, but right now the 10 and 16 very consistent out there, pulling away from the rest of the field.
Yeah, 10 and 16 out there. Honestly, you're bad. He's actually out there somewhere in front of the 10 of Asbel. Actually, as Asbel went on by the pits, he retook P1. So it was honestly, you're bad. An American Ethanol driver out there to lead. So with the 10 going on by, 10's re-inherited the lead. And round 2 of green flag pit stops are underway, gentlemen.
Yeah, this is the two cars around there, and in that first turn exiting pit road, it looks like he's getting going again. Don't know what quite happened to him, but a tough breaker right there is that 16 car pulls out of pit road.
Yeah, that was the other 2 car of Finesse. We talked about him just a little bit ago. He grabbed the pole for the race tonight with Asbel 2 is outside. Looks like the 2 is going to try to dive on underneath the 12. 12, I'm guessing with a little bit of damage. Maybe, I'm not sure if he's pit yet or not. Kind of just let the 2 go on by. So we're going to have to, I'm sure that 38 is going to go ahead and grab a stop and go penalty. As you see, yep, sure did. So good job by him. Way to call it. So the admins didn't have to. Again, guys, we're coming closer and closer to the end of stage 1. Please get your votes in on who you think are going to be the top 3 at the end of the race and who is going to be the team that wins. The person that chooses all that correctly will have a $50 donation made in their name to the GoFundMe that was created to assist with the with GRM Joker's unfortunate finals. So it's kind of hard to talk about. I didn't really know a whole lot about him, but talking to a lot of the guys that did, and I read some of the information from a really good buddy of his that lives in Texas. I actually pulled up his obituary earlier and read a bunch of that, trying to learn more about this guy that everybody really cared about, and more than just a gamer. He was actually a good all-around person. He's a father. So Joker and Panda, I know you're still out there. We're still thinking about the guy. We're still trying to do all we can. Everybody else out there, if you don't get the correct pick, please, by all means, go to GoFundMe.com. Look up Anthony Lord. He is, also known as Sly Job, and you'll see a picture of Joker pop on up, and give what you can, please. With such an unexpected happening. Yeah, death. Yeah. The funeral costs and all that hit the family hard. They're looking for between like $3,500 and $5,000, and that's not even all of it. So guys, if you really can, please go on out, GoFundMe.com, look up Anthony Lord, and please give generously if you can. They really need it. But we're gonna get back to this as we were on the 10 car of Asbel that entire time here. Wub, again running that 10 in honor of GRM Joker. On the bottom right hand of your screen, you see the Smithfield car with the American Ethanol. That was the car that he was going to run in ethanol in the upcoming season. So that's why we got that there. Wub, we're back at the action.
Yeah, the 10, it would be so nice to see him win in honor of Joker tonight. But, the one thing I've noticed over the past lap, he's really been sliding. Coming off the final turn, he actually made a little contact with the inside wall right near the start-finish line. So you wonder if he might actually make a wedge or a pressure adjustment just to tighten up that car a little bit here for the end of a stretch run, because he definitely starts to give up some time here on guys like the 16 and the 2. He seems to be a little faster than some of the the Piston Cup guys. But right now, the 10 looking very loose. He's doing much better here through the final turn. But you just got to pay attention here because his car just seems so much looser than everybody else. A lot of guys seem to be a little bit on the tighter side. We see them going off on the outside of corners and kind of just driving it in a little too deep. But the 10, really, the problem has been the opposite so far.
Yeah, 10's absolutely out there. I know what you mean. I've seen him come down those downhill sweeping lefts and rights, and yeah, he's it seems like he's drifting the entire distance of the hill. But he's back in it. Last time he went by the start stripe, he had 10 laps to go. In fact, right there, as you saw, while he was trying to get under the brakes, he's actually sliding the left rear more than anything else. So it's kind of interesting to see. But that 10 car right now running P2, I want to say that he's probably still behind. Honestly, you're bad, and trying to track him down. But we're going to continue to go through the field here, kid.
Yeah. As we click through here, we got guys just kind of very spread out across the track. I'm trying to find some battles right now. It looks like the 43 and the 4 car going at it right now. They're battling for a position. Again, as I'm scrolling through, just trying to see if there's anybody that's really battling. But everybody's kind of just running their own race right now. Got the 37. He's trying to track down the car in front of him. Yeah, it's definitely spread out right now, which I'm not really surprised about. It's a track where you can really get spread out and all that stuff. It's really high speed. It's kind of like Watkins Glen in terms of the difficulty of the course. So as of right now, it looks like that 16 car, after those second cycle of green flag pit stops, he's extended the lead on that 10 car. So either that 10 car is not having the best entry into pit road, or that 16 car is really just timing it right when it does come to entering pit road. Probably a combination of both. But right now, if this thing goes green to the end, expect that 16 car to have a very good shot at getting into victory lane.
Yeah, I would have to agree, Wub. We're starting to see, because it's now 8 versus 8, not 10 versus 10. It's causing people to get even more spread out than what they may have been if we had the other 4 cars here on track. The 11 and the 10 and the 16 still the top 2, both from American Ethanol. Kind of lost track of who's Piston and who's American Ethanol, besides the obvious names. Who's kind of stood out in your mind on the Piston Cup side?
There's been a couple guys who have shown some speed here for the Piston Cup cars. The 43 recently got into a little bit of trouble with Wild Wreckneck, but he was running up in the top 5 early before he made some contact with the 24 of the Irish Hare, who was also pretty solid. But I got a couple updates on their side. At least one car is lagged out for them. That's the 12 of Air Just Cause. So Piston Cup is down to 7. So it's 8v7 right now. So the lag outs just continue. And I'd expect that to just persist as this race continues, because this is a long race tonight at Canada.
You mentioned the 43, Wild Wreckneck. He's actually sitting on pit road. So when you saw him, well, I hope you got a good glimpse, because I have a feeling that's going to be another lag out for that side. So I think we're down even more. And once guys get racked and stacked back up at the end of stage 1, we're going to be at a very smaller field, I'll say. It's going to be interesting to see all what happens. Watching the 10 car of Aswell right now on his stream, again, helping me out with laps and fuel and all that. He's coming to 7 laps remaining. He'll be coming down pit road next time by. His fuel lights on. We're going to continue to go through the field. Kid, it's coming down to the wire at the end of stage 1. The votes are still being cast out there in chat. Again, $50 towards GRM Joker's fund, courtesy of the one and only Fatless Dig. And 7 laps remaining here in stage 1, kid.
Yeah, 7 laps to go in the stage, and the fuel run is about 6 laps. So whoever can stretch this thing out here, this can really shake up the points, because I'm not sure who's exactly saving. I know that 10 car, he's doing a very good job at saving. So if this does come down to a fuel sided stage, which it looks like it's going to be, expect that 10 car to get the stage win if he can find a way to stretch it. He's still sitting at 1 lap of fuel right now. Don't know if he's going to try to stretch it again or if he's going to come down pit road. I think either way he'll be all right if he comes down pit road right now. I think we'll be able to make it to the end, especially with how good he's been able to save. Not quite sure about everybody else out on the course right now, but I know that 10 car is definitely my pick to win this stage.
Yeah, that 10 car has been out front here, Wub. Him and Honestly You're Bad, but it seems like he's been able to pass Honestly on like the last lap, or that lap when he's had that last little bit extra in the tank. He's going to come on down, 7 laps remaining. As Kid just said, 6 laps is what you get out of a tank, unless you can really put that shifter to work and save 1 full lap, whether it's on one of these very long downhill turns or wherever else you find you might be able to make use out of it.
Yeah, and it takes a while here at Canada to figure out where you can make up your speed and where you can, save gas, because this track it kind of can become monotonous with all the S's leading all the way down to the downhill slope to the tight turn. That's probably the best passing zone, because a lot of these other corners are high speed, but these guys are getting into the rhythm here at Canada, and now that we're getting, 17, 18 laps into this race, they're starting to get comfortable. And I do have confirmation that the 43 of Wild Recknick did lag out. He had been the highest running of the Piston Cup cars, so once again, they are at a 2-person disadvantage, and they lose their best driver so far. It is 8-6 right now. 8 American Ethanol guys, 6 Piston Cup guys, and 4 of the 18 starters of this race have lagged out, and we're still in stage 1. As the 16,
yeah, he's off the racetrack. 16 off the racetrack, and he looks like he got a course penalty, I believe, or at least he had to stop. That's going to give the 10 car time to catch up, so that's going to be a big implication for down the stretch, as that 10 car knows he's good on fuel. As I'm, again, looking on the stream, he did have that top left panel to show his fuel for the whole run, trying to see how many laps of fuel he had left, but now it's gone. So he knows he's good to the end right now, so he can kind of push this thing. That 16 car, I don't know. I do know he put a lap earlier than the 10 car, so I don't know if he's going to be good on fuel. He might have to save, which is, again, going to allow that 10 car to catch him. So this is going to be an interesting run to the finish right here to see who gets the stage win, either the 10 or the 16.
Yeah, 16's he's got a pretty good lead on going back to the 10. Actually, Honestly You're Bad's got an 8.5 second lead over Aswell, and then behind Aswell is going to be the Irish Rear, as well as Vibe Beast and then Finesse. So there are a couple of Piston Cup guys mixed in that top 5, so it's good to see. So they're down by a couple cars, but they are absolutely in the mix trying to get max points. And if they're doing the same thing as Honestly You're Bad and Aswell trying to grab max points, Aswell's been able to go the distance between the green flag fuel runs, but these guys, they definitely seem like they're able to hang in there, Wub.
Yeah, I'm actually impressed, because you'd think, starting at a disadvantage, then getting it back, and then just a crusher of momentum when your best driver lags out of the race. But these guys are holding tough and trying their best here to at least stay competitive, and I'm really impressed. The 24 has done a nice job of the Irish Rear. He was able to pass the 2 on speed early on in the race, got around the 14 as well before he lagged out. And, he's staying hanging on there around the top 5. And right now, I mean, American Ethanol is in a good spot to win and win big. But the Piston Cup team, they just want to get as many points as they can, run their own race, and just try to do the best they possibly can. And, someone like the 24 is doing a great job representing that team.
Yeah, 24 is doing a phenomenal job. The 16 is doing a great job for the American Ethanol side. Just watch the 38 of Fatless Dig take a nosedive into the inside wall, but because he had a good enough gap behind him, he was able to keep the 48 at bay. Magic Mike, thank you very much for subbing with Prime. Absolutely appreciate you. Glad to see you out here tonight. Man, you're a class act, sir. Thank you very much. And also, Rock NASCAR, thank you very much for the bits. You're a gentleman and a scholar. Can't be said enough. 3 more laps remaining here in stage 1, fellas.
Yeah, this race is getting down to the wire here in stage 1, and that 10 car is cutting down the gap on the 16. It was sitting around 15 seconds, and then with that mistake from the 16 a couple laps ago, it cut it down to 8. Don't know the exact distance right now, but it's definitely lower than 8 right now, as that 10 car is within about half a turn of that 16 car. So I'm not sure if that 16 car is saving as he goes a little bit wide there in that hairpin. The 16 car has been starting to kind of lose his marks a tad bit. I don't know if he knows that 10 car is kind of hunting him down, but the 10 car has about 2.5 laps to make something happen here. So I don't know if that 16 car is saving or not. I don't know if he's good on fuel, but either way, this is going to get tight.
Yeah, this 16 car that honestly your bad is driving is actually the car that Asbel will be in the NNR Cup Series after the season he had last year. Again, winning both the truck and Xfinity, got promoted to Cup. So it almost seems like the 10 has got to run down this 16 and recapture his car. He wants it back, and he's charging in a hard way. And don't forget, Asbel has been able to overtake the 16. Honestly, your bad has not been able to run the entire fuel distance that Asbel's been able to get. That shifter wub makes a big difference.
Yeah, it sure does, but so do tires, and we saw the end of the last run, the 10 starting to get a little loose, but if the 16 runs out of fuel, that's the end of it. But yeah, the 10 is still catching him right now. He's got to get around this 37 car, though. That is Vibe for Piston Cup, and nice job by the 37 getting out of the way. And the 10 just made a lot of ground up right there.
Oh boy, he is there. He is there.
Yeah, here he comes. Let's see if he can. This is a good opportunity, though. He's got 2 high braking zone turns here to make up a lot of ground. Let's see how they come through the 2 right-handers coming up.
Yeah, looking forward now from the 10 car towards that 16. 16 took the turn just a little wide, turning into the second to last corner before they head up towards a little bit of an uphill, coming towards the start stripe. I believe this is going to be 2 to go. And actually it's going to be 1 to go. So
yeah, 1 to go.
Yep, Asbel's got the 16 in his sights. They both made their bed, whether they were going to be good on fuel or not. Here they come. Asbel sees that 16. He can read the decals on the back, getting into the corner a whole lot better than a 16. Wub, he's making up leaps and bounds. He's clicking off tenths. Although I'm watching that 10 really smoke that right front tire whenever he's trying to set that car to get it into a turn. He just did it again, coming through the hairpin.
Oh, we went off the racetrack.
There goes the 16 off the course. The 10 was wheel hopping everywhere, but the 16 messes up the tight turn. I told you guys at the top of the show that would be the tough corner. Now let's see if the 16 has anything for this 10. 3 more turns as they come towards the right-hander. The 10 hanging on by a few car lengths, but he's got the fresher tires as well. The 10 drives it in. The 16 is way off the course again, and I think the 10's going to lock this up.
Yeah, that 16 car, his brakes, or I don't know if it's his brakes or his tires or something, but something was not right that last lap as he's struggling to come around the turn, so he will get second. But, oh, man, that 10 car ran him down fast, but very interesting end to stage 1 here, boys.
Yep, absolutely. Stage 1 ended. Asbel up front with honestly your bad as soon as the full gambit of the finishing order comes back to screen off of Asbel's stream. I'll go ahead and read that off. It looks like Finesse is going to be third. They're through right now to make sure all the points are connected. Looks like it's going to be, I just saw King Mathers, and then Fatless Dig is going to round out your top 5. Hopefully I can get some more. There we go. King Mathers, Fatless Dig, Geico Gamer, the Irish Rear. Then it's NNR Trip, Beast, Crackmaster, Rage Omega, Allen Dynasty, and that's going to be all I'm going to be able to get for now. So, guys, stage 1's closed. Voting is closed. We'll go back here in just a little bit, go through everybody's vote. It's gonna be interesting to see if anybody's able to pick the correct top 3 and the eventual winning team. But I have a feeling that money's still gonna find its way over to that GoFundMe. Anyway, it shakes out. So again, all for fun. But again, if the winning vote out there, it'll be the money will be donated in the name of the person that got the pick correct. We are back under green. Wub, heading into turn 1.
Yeah, the 16 with a nice start, but the 10 hanging out on the outside. Already some of the Piston Cup guys fading back. Now into the picture is the 4 car for the first time really today of King, but he's going to get pushed out wide by the 2 car. 3 wide back there for about 4th place. They're still trying to settle things out. I'm keeping an eye on Fatless Dig, who almost took a look to the inside 3 wide. This could be a lot of trouble heading towards this tight turn. We saw a lot of bumping and banging on lap 1 here when they were so close together. The 2 with a major wheel hop. As they come into the corner, the 2 is sliding. Here comes everybody. 88 into the sand trap. 48 goes wide, but it looks like they'll make it all through unscathed.
Yeah, all coming through on pretty well. I got to tell you, just like I said last night during the NNR and Highside race, these are 2 communities that have never raced with each other. And here they are out on track, 1 full stage in the books, all under green. No caution so far. Only seen a couple guys end up in trouble, but it was mostly by themselves. They're racing with a whole lot of respect for each other. And Kid Dynamite, they are getting after it.
Yeah, they are getting after it, and coming into that last turn, the 2 car looked like of X Finesse. He got loose or something, as we have a wreck on the front straightaway with the 48, but that 2 car got loose, spun into pit road, so hopefully he doesn't have a speeding penalty, but a bad break for that 2 car. I was just about to say he was one of the guys that kind of a dark horse pick to kind of stay up there with the 10 and the 16, but he looked like he spun into pit road, so he's going to have to stop there. Again, don't know if he gets a penalty or not. I don't know how fast he was going, but definitely a tough break for that number 2 Penske Ford.
Yeah, number 2, as you just said, he started on pole tonight. Good thing it's just stage 2. So as long as he can stay on the lead lap, and I think he's got the machine to do it, he should be able to catch back up when they're all stacked again to start stage 3. Again, here just in the first couple laps of stage 2, Wub, and they're still mixing it up quite a bit in the back.
Yeah, they haven't really separated. There's been 3 guys who have really gotten away from everybody else, though. That's the 10 and the 16 as expected, and then a 24 for Piston Cup of the Irish Rear, who's now running in 3rd place after the 2 had his miscue. And then we saw the wreck with the 48 on the front stretch. So these guys still slowly spreading out, but the American Ethanol guys are coming to the front.
Definitely trying to, like you said, the 24 of Irish Rear on him right now. He's got a windshield full of the car in front, not quite able to read the decals yet, but he's definitely got his draft up on 2 tires just a little bit, trying to get the car to set. Gone downhill, going into this right and then left and then right again, all keeping up with everybody else. Looks like the 11 of A-Bars also on pit road, and I don't see this 11 car moving. I think there might be another lag out.
Yeah, that's good. Definitely a tough break. This is kind of odd how we're having so many lag outs. I don't know if I haven't really been caught up with NASCAR heat as of late, so I don't know if maybe there's some server problems that have been happening or maybe you guys or maybe these guys just don't have that good of connection. They have some Walmart connection, but yeah, I don't know how we're gonna make it all the way to the end of the race because we had almost half the field lag out in the first stage, and then it looks like we already have another guy lagging out here. So this is definitely going to be interesting. This might be kind of survival of the fittest here. Who can make it to the end of the race based on connection, not even on skill, just who can make it based on if their connection holds up. Hopefully that 10 car, that 16 don't lag out because those are the two guys that are really the guys to watch. And that 24 car, he's starting to kind of get his bearings as he's sitting behind that 16 car. Oh, he got a little loose right there, almost went off the racetrack. That 10 car right now, it's been in and our Asbill right now, but that 16 car, there's definitely something wrong with that 16. He doesn't look as strong. He looks really tight right now. I'm not sure quite what's wrong with his race car.
Yeah, that fraternal odor of Eagle 16 machine. 24 definitely trying to hunt him down. But everybody's still chasing that 10 of Asbel. Again, Asbel normally runs a different number. Tonight he's out here running the 10 in honor of GRM Joker. Wub, if you wouldn't mind, can you check in with Frydog? I just want to make sure that we're completely on top of our game. Is there a certain percentage of cars that have to lag out before the new rule that was implemented last night takes effect, or are we racing this out until it's last man standing? I just want to make sure that we're in the know.
Oh, it looks like Wub. I think Wub disconnected from the Discord and then went back.
No, I'm back.
Are you back? Okay, yeah. I thought I heard
so
the,
first off, the 11 definitely lagged out. So there's 5 lag outs. So I'm reading through the announcement from Slide Job yesterday.
Okay.
So in the event of a server lag out, let's see. If a lag out occurs before second stage, races restart in qualifying order. Of course, that didn't happen. That would be just a major lag out. So many people lagged out. Let's see. I don't think that we have reached the criteria yet. It's really more about a simultaneous or an instantaneous lag out.
Yeah,
entire lobby lag out.
Yeah, big server lag out. Yeah, where the server just kind of dipped. It's not based on a percentage of cars like throughout the race. It's just if NASCAR Heat's like, you know what, you guys are all out of here, just boots them out. So so we could very well finish this race with like under 10 cars. Based on the criteria from Slide Job, if guys just kind of lag out spontaneously here and there, we shouldn't be backing out or whatever. Mainly if there's just a big server crash and multiple people lag out at the same time. So if these guys keep just kind of dipping every so often, every few laps, then we could very well finish this race with a single-digit car field.
Yeah, definitely have to see. Kid Dynamite, there was a huge issue last night between the Fast Family League and NAOR. They went all green, first and second stage, and then 2 laps into stage 3, the race was just nixed. And it went into the wee mornings trying to figure that out, and that's where that new guideline came into play. So, these guys try to do everything that they can. Unfortunately, this is season 1, still some growing pains for everybody to go through. Very, very unfortunate, but NAOR did officially grab that win, so they're going to go on to the next stage, which is the Super Speedway stage, and there was some clarification on that last night as well. When stage 3 hits, it will just be Daytona and Talladega. Some wanted to know if maybe Auto Club or Michigan maybe Indy would be brought into that. Nope, it's going to be just restrictor plate tracks.
That's going to be interesting for sure, because I was kind of wanting the same thing, because Michigan being my home track, I always try to make sure that I'm good there, because I do race in this showdown with the SXRL. We actually had the we had the second round bye, so we were already in the super speedway round. So I was thinking about that too. I was like, shoot, if we're at Michigan or Auto Club, I tend to be better at those tracks. But yeah, the fact that it's just Daytona and Dega, that's probably for the best, because I just feel like if you add in tracks like Auto Club and Michigan, Indy, it provides too much of a variance of racing, and and it just it just wouldn't feel right. Considering everybody's used to super speedways being Dega and Daytona.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, that's going to be the great equalizer. Those tracks are already known as that, Wub. So you can have, if N&R moved on, I think. We know that they didn't grab max points because of also a couple of very early lag outs. So even though N&R got max points versus a little on the high side. They didn't. I don't think they're going to beat out East Park or Shake and Bake or any other tough team that may come across. So I mean, American Ethanol, even though they're low on cars, depending on how the points fall, they can still knock NNR out of P2. We'll have to see, but um, you could have an NNR versus I think ENEA would have been next in their bracket if NNR didn't grab max points. So ENEA, being a lower seed, could actually beat NNR at a track like a Dago or a Daytona. It's all about your teamwork and, again, putting all your chess pieces in the right places at the right time, making the right moves, and taking care of your stuff around either one of those super speedways.
Yeah, and that's really it's all about. And this tournament's all about teamwork, getting 10 guys together to work together to get the best possible outcome. And it really culminates really in the super speedway round, because you're going to need to line up. You got to be smart. Who's the best pushers? Who's the best leaders? And making sure you're, on the same page when you pit. And you mentioned how it's continuing to boil down. We're going to be down to just 11 teams for round number 3. So we're going to start seeing some really elite matchups with some of the best leagues out there on Xbox competing. And, you've got between the NNR, SXRL, we've got Ethanol 10, and of course, eSpark. I mean, we're going to start seeing some of these leagues matching up one-on-one in some really intriguing matchups. And what better place to see it at the World Center of Racing or at Talladega?
Yeah, I think yeah. The farther we go into this tournament, the more greater racing that we see. But obviously, the plate tracks are a wild card because everybody can hold the gas and turn left. So yeah, it is kind of the thing that equals out the leagues, which could get an underdog league to kind of maybe take the cake, because it is a super speedway. Because in my opinion, I do think the SXRL, out of most of the leagues that are left, you could have qualified them as an underdog pick. Some of those guys do race in the eSpark series. I don't race in the eSpark series myself, but I know some of the guys in the SXRL do race in the eSpark series, and they say that's a very competitive league. But I would say that if there's any dark horse pick, it's definitely the SXRL, because I just feel like no one's really talking about them, despite having the first round bye, or the second round bye, I should say. I just feel like they're probably the one kind of dark horse or underdog pick for the super speedway round.
SXRL is a very, very stacked roster. I mean, we're talking about Word Burton, we're talking about Lucky Dog, and many, many others.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know if I would put them as a dark horse. I mean, they didn't collect 425 points by accident.
Oh yeah, I was
went
in
out
that
and
race.
did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, I was in that race, and I got caught 2 laps down because it's just some stuff that happened early in the race or whatever. I got clobbered off of turn 2, and then I got clobbered off of turn 4 in the pit road. I got put 2 laps down, and because the SXRL guys, our strategy was, as soon as that run started, we all just got in a line and just went. We just went and we just pulled away from everybody. And that actually low key kind of screwed me out because then they ended up putting the whole field a lap down. So I was got 2 laps down for the whole race because the whole field was just a lap down. Finally got both of them back near the end. And I was able to kind of push back up there and get like a P7 or P8 and help my team out even more. But those SXRL guys, we pride ourselves on strategy. That's really our thing. If we can't win the race based on pure speed, we'll try to find any way to win it based on strategy. I remember the whole week we were thinking about just fuel strategy and putting out different scenarios on what to do and all that. So strategy is a real. I feel like that's the thing that not a lot of guys think about when it comes to these things. A lot of guys try to think about, all right, just go out there and just turn left. But I think at the end of the day, strategy is the one thing that could be the difference maker in the end.
Oh, absolutely. And I tell you, Boehner just checked in the chat. At the end of stage 1, the points were 44-11 in favor of American Ethanol. And as this 10 car comes across the start stripe this time, there are 12 laps remaining. So 12 more to go here in stage 2. They're just clicking along as we're talking about these guys, and that's got to be very, very low points. But I tell you, it's all due to the amount of people that are no longer in the race due to very, very unfortunate system circumstances. But Wub, these guys are absolutely making the best of of everything that they can while they're still out here, hoping that they're not the next one that the stream bites or the server bites.
Yeah, totally. And the thing that's impressed me the most tonight, guys, is just how clean both these teams have been with each other. Even I know they've had a little bit of trouble on the first lap off of restarts and that tight turn, but these guys are racing each other very clean. They're very courteous on the track. They when they get a penalty, they exercise it. They do the stop and go right away. And they're really putting on a show and really making people realize that they are great leagues and also great people as well on the track. But adding on to what Kid Dynamite was talking about, I want to just mention my team, the OMA. We're also moving on to round 3, and just you were talking about the importance of pit strategy, and that's kind of what one of my fears is going in, because if we're because we didn't get too many points in the second round, so we're probably going to get a matchup against a team like an eSpark or an NNR or something like that, who are going to be so good at strategy. So our main thing is just being on the same page and working together. We've been talking tirelessly already about who's going to be the pushers, who's going to be leading the pack, just so we can maximize and just have the best group possible going together. But, that's the strategizing that goes in. But, when you've got a team like eSpark that has Dohar that can save like 18 laps extra of gas, that makes a challenge for everybody else. So it's going to be fun to watch how these teams manage strategy and teamwork at the plate track round.
Yeah, Mason Brown or I'm sorry, not Mason Brown. Somebody's just out there. Magic Mike was out there asking for a running order. Unfortunately, I don't have one right now. Asbel has kept his stream basically just really focusing on hitting his mark and where he's got to get off the gas, get back on the gas. He hasn't paid any attention to anything else other than what he's got to do out there on track. He's only shown the lap he's on with what's left and the track map. That's it. So Asbel completely in the zone. Sorry, don't quite have a running order for you right now.
This is getting down to the nitty gritty again. I feel like this thing is going to come down to fuel. If you saw it here in stage 1, because usually stage 1 and stage 2 are similar when it comes to laps or whatever. So this is this is definitely fun to watch. This is the one good thing about these road courses, that everybody's on somewhat of a different strategy, because you got guys that don't save at all, then you got guys that save a lot, and then you got guys kind of sitting there in between those two spectrums. So this is why I like the road course racing on this game, at least in this extent, because if you do go green, for most of the way, it really throws in that strategy kink more than it does on the ovals.
Yeah, absolutely. And with 9 laps left, and everybody was just recently down pit road, it's going to be interesting. I don't think you could save 1 lap. You're not going to save 2 or 3. So they're on lap 13 of 22 right now. 9 laps left per the 10 car. Again, want to thank Asbel for streaming tonight, allowing us to kind of tag along for the the lap count and for anything else that he may come across. 10's been up front, been dominant for most of the race. 16 of honestly, your bad's been up there. The car finesse. He started on pole, had some problems. 10 cars starting to put people another lap down, or it could be the same people. Not 100% sure, but right now he's fighting with what is this? Mayo Bacon. Going to try to catch up right now in this 17 Sunny D car.
And I like that the 17, we've also seen it with the 77, they're doing a good job getting out of the way, because we don't see it often, but when you catch a lap car at a road course, it's always very difficult to get around them. But nice job by the 17 and by the 77 letting people by in that situation, and the 10 allowing the 10 and the 16 to really have a fun battle together, because these guys have been going back and forth, and the 2 is also kind of faded after his initial troubles at the start of stage 2, but I wouldn't count him out in a long-run situation in stage 3. So despite the fact that American Ethanol has taken control early, with the circumstances of lag outs and all that, like, we're still going to have a fun race for the win with the 10, the 16, and the 2 all going hard, and still the 24 hanging around there with the Piston Cup team in the top 5.
Yeah, I do want to.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I do want to touch on the fact of what he was saying about the lap cars letting the leaders go. That's really an underrated aspect of racing, because we have seen aspects of it in this tournament where the lap cars don't let the lead cars go by, and then you get an accident or something like that, or you get a questionable call where the league moderators have to really watch the tape and make a tough decision on was this a guy just trying to fight to not go a lap down, or was it intentional? So anytime I see a guy about to go a lap down and he pulls all the way, it always kind of just warms my heart, because I'm like, okay, good, we got a smart group of guys in this race that know, like, hey, I'm off the pace. I'm just trying to run my race. I'm not going to try to mess with anybody else, at least not intentionally. Obviously, mistakes happen, and there are times where guys will just they just spin out and they end up collecting the lead cars. But in the end, sportsmanship is the biggest thing in this whole tournament.
Yeah, sportsmanship is huge, and they're absolutely showing it. I'm not 100% sure if Boehner or Frydog or anybody else has had to wave that blue flag at anybody. I would like to say no, judging by the closing rate that either the 16 or the 10 or any of the leaders in between fuel stops have. I don't know if they've had to worry about that as of yet. You see the 16 right there. Honestly, you're bad. Just a little too much wheel coming off of that last turn, going down this right-hander one more time, heading under this NASCAR bridge, down this sweeping left turn. Seen a lot of people end up in a little bit of trouble here. Don't see a whole lot of tire tracks in the grass right there. Mostly been doing a great job, but yeah, lap cars, they have been staying out of the way for the most part tonight.
And Pete, I'm in that call also. I'm in the Xbox party where the officials are, and I haven't really heard any major issues with lap cars tonight. The main discussion in there has just been the lag outs, and then there was one or two incidents, I think, with people merging off pit road in front of traffic. But other than that, I mean, these guys have been doing a great job, and we haven't had many issues at all. And I know the field's spread out, and that's probably helping this situation. But overall, these guys are being very honest and being very active out there. But, it is also still stage 2, and Piston Cup still thinks they've got a chance here as well. And I mean, frankly, they still do. I know they struggled in stage 1, but you know what? They're still only down by one man here at the end. So I wouldn't completely give up on them. So we'll see what happens in stage 3. As the intensity is going to ramp up. As I just watched the 10 do a little bit of an aggressive move getting around one of the lap cars. There was the 48 he passed the Piston Cup captain of Geico Gamer 48. As the 10 is it seems like he's just ripping past Piston Cup cars one by one and just putting them a lap down. Yeah,
he's chilling up there in that lead right now.
Yeah, just caught back up with the 10 going down that big downhill again, coming through the hairpin, hitting it just right. A little bit of right side tire on the rumble strips, a little bit of left to try to get some extra grip off the corner. See that 48 now in his rear view. I can tell you that Aspel's got about 2 laps of fuel in the tank, and his fuel light's already on. So I'm not sure if he's all about full bore right now, or if he's saving a little bit. I know that him, just like several others, they put that shifter to a lot of use and a lot of abuse as well. I can tell you in a couple of the practices that NNR has held where Asbel was in there, I hear him jamming on those gears. So he's like he's making sure that it goes into the gear that he wants.
Yeah. I don't expect him to try to stretch this. I expect him to kind of just run this fuel tank dry here, because there's really no benefit to staying out here, especially with the low laps of fuel that they already get with 2 cans of fuel. Because on ovals, you could say, if he kind of stays out and stretches a tad bit more, he could stay out at the stage break and take the lead, or stay in the lead in his case. But at road courses, which is how low of laps they even get with a full 2 cans of fuel, there's no benefit to try to stretch this out. So I do expect him to come down pit road right here. If he does stretch this again, wouldn't be surprised. But in the end, I don't expect him to try to stretch this thing out.
And Wub, I've actually got a top 5 for us right now. It's going to be Asbel, the 4 of King Mathers, 38 of Fatless Dig, the 16 of Honestly You're Bad, and then NNR Trip. So right now it's an all ethanol top 5, as I'm sure the 10 is going to come on down pit road this time by. Let's actually see if we can go ahead and catch up with Asbel. And yep, there he is.
Asbel, just Asbel, man, he's just chilling. He's just like, I'm up in the lead pack, or like, I'm up in the lead, and he comes down pit road. Right now, it looks like he's taking 4 tires and about a can and a half. So looks like he's trying to. He's actually taking under the amount of laps left. Interesting move from the 10 car. On the pit panel, it said he had 5 laps to go in the stage, and he took a can and a half, which only gave him 4 laps of fuel. So. It still didn't come down any time, though. He still had a 15.8 second pit stop. So, interesting move right there from the 10 car to under fuel right there. But, I guess in his case, it doesn't really matter because he'll probably be able to save it anyways. So.
And something, I just want to say, when you mentioned the undercut with the fuel, people often forget that at road courses, it can be beneficial to have less fuel in your car. It can be lighter and you can go faster. It's really something that people kind of overlook and don't really think about at other tracks. But at road courses, especially when tire wear isn't as bad as, like you say, like a mile and a half or like an Auto Club or a Michigan, you can do something like that. And we know the 10, we know these guys are capable of saving fuel. But it's interesting that he's traded off from the strategy that gave him success in stage 1, where he was more safe on fuel and able to push instead of the 16. But, trying something different and trying to find success again.
Yeah, talking about pushing it, 77's out of fuel on that backstretch with an incline. So I'm hoping that 77's going to be able to make it back to pit road. Not 100% sure. Here he is now going through the grass. I'm going to guess the game is going to bring him back in, but it would be his worst luck to hit a wall and kill any momentum that he's got. I think the game's going to be able to bring him in. He's got to make sure that he does not hit the brakes and don't hit a wall. Just keep on.
Yeah, that's really the critical thing here. Is just don't make any mistakes. That's really the big thing when you have a big lead like this. Is just there's no need to push. You don't get an extra bonus point for getting the fast lap or anything like that, or you don't get a bonus point for how much you're leading by. It's really just just hitting your marks, being consistent. That's really the key more than anything than trying to push for a fast lap, whatever. And he's been doing a very good job of staying consistent while that 16 seems to be kind of slipping and sliding around. So that 10 car has found his car. Meanwhile, the 16 seems to be kind of struggling a tad bit.
Yeah, Wub, nobody anywhere around this 10, either up front as he crosses under the NASCAR bridge or behind. Asbel just has complete clear sailing. Now, in stage 1, Asbel is one of only 6 or 7 drivers that drove for the full swing. He led stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3 when American Ethanol won their race in stage 1. It looks like he's trying to be the first one to do that here in stage 2 as well. At least I believe it is. I could be wrong, but yeah, 10 cars still out there, still looking really strong. You mentioned he's already been down pit road, Wub. He's just trying to finish out stage 2 here on a high note.
Yeah, and who's finishing it out on a low note is the Piston Cup Series, because the 37 and the 17 have both lagged out now.
Oh,
so
no.
2 more cars are out of the
That
Piston
good.
Cup. So they'll join the 12 in the garage, they'll join the 43, and then on the other side, the 18's out, the 11's out. I think we're up to, 7 cars that have lagged out, so there's only 11 left in the race. Piston Cup, I think, is down to 4? They might be down to 4 cars here, and 7 on the other side for American Ethanol, so it's really falling apart here for Piston Cup.
And you said in that guideline you read, there was nothing there about one team lagging out. It's pretty much just the actual full lobby getting due to a similar issue, right?
Yes, that's
All
what
right.
it appears. That's what it seems like.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what would happen if the whole league just lagged out. I'm assuming that would. I mean, I guess that'd be the race because because it's only one league in the race. I'm not quite sure what the rules on that are. And I know it's not technically a forfeit, but in terms of who's still in the race, that's technically like a forfeit. But yeah, that's gonna.
Yeah.
hopefully we don't get to that point.
Right.
But with these servers and how they've been, apparently the past few days, I haven't even been on the game, so I didn't even know that the servers were this bad as of late. Yeah, hopefully we don't get to that point, but we can very well get to that point.
But if the Piston Cup team does, if for some reason, I mean, hopefully, crossing my fingers, knocking on wood, that does not happen. But
Yeah.
if it did, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Ethanol try to finish this out because they've got a fun battle here between the 10, the 16, and the 2. I remember round 1, my team, the other team actually forfeited that we were against back in stage 3, and we decided just to finish out the last 20 laps because you know what? It was fun to put on a show for the fans and just, be on the track. And even though we had already clinched the victory, we just wanted to keep racing. So hopefully we can still have the Piston Cup guys on the track. But right now we're halfway through the race and half their guys are gone, which is not a good omen heading through the rest of the race.
Well, I'll tell you what, that 16 almost, if he had gotten through that last corner the right way, as we just finished up stage 2, keeping an eye through the eyes of honesty or bad towards the 10. If the 16 was able to get through that last lap a little bit better than the 10, he might have stolen the stage 2 victory from Asbel. But Asbel now he's 2 for 2 when it comes to stages. It's going to be Asbel, Honestly or Bad, Fatless Dig, the Irish Rear, and then King Mathers. So Piston does have one guy in that top 5, so there's going to be some good positive points coming their way. Behind them was Trip, Finessed, Geico Gamer, Crackmaster, and Rage Omega. But it looks like there's only about 7 cars on the lead lap right now. They've got about 25 seconds left before we take them back green. And boys, it's been an interesting beginning, but I tell you what, with everything as you just said there, ramping up, it's the final stage, the longest stage. What would you be willing to do for max points if it came down to it?
I mean, I'd start trying to pull some strategies here. And, the 2's back in this too. He got screwed on the opening lap of stage number 2. Now he's there. And, the 24, he wants to help out his Piston Cup team as much as possible. Here off the restart, he made a little contact there with the 2. And here we go, 3 wide, a little bit behind. They'll try to settle it out. The 10 with a great restart, heading through the corner. The 24 actually had a run in the 16. He is really impressing me, and while the rest of his team has had some bad luck, he personally has been able to make a great name of himself here tonight. As we watch them go through, we're coming up to the tough turn. Here we go. The 10 and the 16 leading them in. Just 11 cars in the track. The 24 ducks to the outside of the 16, trying to make something happen. And it looks like for once everybody will get through that corner clean.
Yep, everybody through the hairpin, like you said, 10, 16, 24. I see the 2 is back in the mix after being force pit right about this time when stage 2 started. So with a few less cars on track, like you said, 11, but only the first 7 are actually on the lead lap. Even though this is a monstrous Canadian road course, the 10 of Asbel has absolutely set a monster pace, putting several cars a lap down if they hadn't actually lagged out.
Yeah, that 10 car, he's really again, he's been doing his thing, just tearing up the field, just picking off people one by one. That 16 car is sitting there along with that 24 and the 2 cars sitting behind that 24. So we got about a 4-car battle right now as that 16 car is looking to find some way to maybe battle with that 10 car. But as of right now, the Irish Rear, really that lone flag carrier for the Piston Cup Series, as he's up there in third right now, trying to hold off the 2 car, but I don't know how long he'll be able to keep that P3.
Yeah, again, the 2 is actually one that started on the pole with the 10 car of Asbel to the outside. 24, as you just said, trying to hold off the 2. 2's going to try to look to the inside, coming through the hairpin, but unable to get on by. 24 is going to be able to hold him back another, at least down this very, very long back straightaway. Wub, the top four seem like they're pretty equal right now.
I think any of the top four could win this, but it's probably all going to come down to consistency, strategy, and getting through lap traffic, because we know the lap traffic is going to come. The 88 had some trouble. He has some pretty heavy damage from about a lap ago, so Trip's going to be slow. The 77 has been pretty slow all race. So, you know, they're gonna come across some lap traffic, so that's going to be key. But I'm really impressed with the 24, and you know the 2 is hungry. He did a great job catching back up from his early troubles in Stage 2, and now finds himself right back in the battle for the lead.
Yeah, back in the battle for the lead. 24's wasn't able to hold off the 2. Actually, 24 looks like he was able to get on back by the 2 car, trying to catch up with him right now. It's unfortunate that as I go through the different camera angles, every other one is a car on pit road. So please be patient out there. It's very, very unfortunate, but we're trying to get us back to that battle between the 2 and the 24 right now. There we go.
Yeah.
So
and
actually, they've all caught up to the 16.
3-car battle. Yeah, 3-car battle for
16
second.
had to take a stop and go there coming in. He came in too hot into the tight turn, so he had trouble in the hairpin. And now the 24 is looking for his best spot of the day. Inside, but cut up a little bit. Here comes the 2. Here they come to that tight final turn. Can the 24 do anything with the 16? The 16, the preferred lane, trying to hang out a second. The 24.
The 24 girl's got to run.
Nose under. Here he goes for second place under the 16. He's going to have the preferred lane through 1. 16 trying to hang on. 24 got a little loose, and the 16 stays in second.
Yeah, kid, 16's going to stay in second. 2-car of Finesse going
Look
to try
at
to
2-car.
dive to the inside of that 24. Use the 2 tires on the grass, 2 tires on the asphalt, but the 2 is coming back with.
Oh!
Yep, 24 is
There
coming
he
back with a
comes.
vengeance. Still a 3-car battle.
This is going to be interesting this turn.
Yeah. Here they come to the hairpin. Who gets the advantage? 16 takes a defensive line into the hairpin. Oh, he gets a little bit wide. 24 sitting on the bottom of the 2. Who gets the good run off the corner right here? That 24 car gets a very good run, but that 16 car is scooting away. That 2 car is going to have to use that draft down the back right here of that 24 to maybe slingshot him and really send it there into this high-speed turn.
That was great damage control right there from the 16. He went high at the beginning of the hairpin, but just kept his foot on the gas, stayed in it, and was able to get a great run through the corner. The 24 with a good run, but just not enough, so the 16 hanging on to second at the moment.
Yeah, 2-car tried to get into that corner a little bit further, tried to full send it on in, but caught just a little too much of that grass and got wicked loose, so had to check up. But it looks like the 24 did the same thing on the very next exit, or the very next corner rather, and was not able to hold it off the exit. 2-car is able to take that spot. So right now you've got the 10 of Asbel, the 16 of Honestly You're Bad, 2-car of Finesse who we're driving with right now, and then that 24 of Irish Rear running in P4. Actually, the 16's around all by himself.
No!
Wow. That's going to hurt him a lot. I don't really know what happened to the 16. I think he got a little loose and just lost it off of a corner. And now the 2 had to do a stop and go.
He cut the racetrack. He cut the hairpin. So the 16 and the 2 are now fighting with each other. Meanwhile, it looks like the 38, he's came a Fatless dig. He's came out of nowhere, and he's sitting right there in 3rd place. So crazy events happening here late in the race here in stage 3.
Yeah, everybody out there doing a pretty good job. 16 made a mistake, was able to get back out on track. Right after the 2 made a mistake, like I said, 38 of Fatless Dig able to capitalize and make up a whole lot of spots. It looks like top 3 coming down pit road right now.
Yeah, looks like that 24 car is down pit road along with I believe he might be the only one on pit road as of right now, but it looks like he will start the green flag pit stops. Looks like the 16, he's also down as well. So here we go. This is where things are going to get kind of shaken up with people in different strategies who can kind of stretch it, because there were about, I think the stage started with about 27 laps. So if guys can stretch the thing out, they might be able to make this thing in only 3 stops, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, the second, third, and fourth in the running order right there all came down pit road together. Again, that's 24, the 16, and the two car coming on down. So right now, Asbel, who been your leader since the drop of the green in stage 3, still out there. He's got a massive lead over the 38 of Fatless Dig, but the 10 should be bringing on down pit road this time by, and we'll see if we can actually catch up with him. Yep, here he is, making his pit road entry for brand new Eagle Fuel Goods. Fill it up with Sunoco Racing Fuel. That Smithfield 10 Ford Mustang. He's been stout all night long. And Boehner out there with another point update, 88 to 22 after stage 2. American Ethanol extending their points lead.
Yeah, they've pretty much locked it up at this point because only 4 drivers, I think, remaining on the track for Piston Cup. They've got the 48, they've got the 24, obviously running really well, the 77 and the 95, and that's about it that they have. Just short on numbers, which is unfortunate because a lot of it has been due to internet troubles. But you can't let that undermine the performance that American Ethanol has put on today between the 16, the 10, and the 2.
Yeah, and it's not even them. Under each restart, we've been caution free since the drop of the initial green. Under each restart for the stage, we've seen some great racing all the way around. Haven't seen anybody get doored under any kind of a malicious intent or anything like that. It's been all very, very hard racing. So we can't take anything from Piston Cup either. They're hanging in there, even though they are down by numbers. American Ethanol is not far behind them. There's still quite a ways to go. I want to say probably about 25 laps remaining here in the race. Anything could happen. People have been lagging out left and right. Actually, there's exactly 20 laps to go. They're on lap 60 of 80, so 20 laps remaining. Man, we saw 4 cars lag out in the first 20. So, man, there's still a lot to happen, and still a lot can happen.
Oh yeah, definitely for sure. Oh yeah, a lot of things can happen here because with each lap being just under 2 minutes, around 1:45, with under 20 laps to go or hitting 20 laps to go. Yeah, anything can happen. We still have at least 2 more pit stops left, maybe 3. So yeah, anything can happen. A lag could happen, spin could happen because we already saw the 16 spin out on fresh tires. So imagine what could happen on old tires. So yeah, man, this is gonna get down to the wire right here.
Keeping an eye on the 34 of Crackmaster right now. I actually kind of like that freight cautions Ford Mustang. Looks that's a pretty nice looking paint scheme. Not too far off the back bumper of, I believe, going to be the 77. Right in front of him. 77 had some troubles in mid-stage 2, ran out of fuel. I'm sure he was glad to see that stage flag come out. He was able to make it on in, grab himself some tires, some fuel, able to get back out. I'm sure for the amount of time that he spent coasting, he went at least 1 lap down if he wasn't already. But we restarted stage 3 with 7 cars on the lead lap. Now 19 laps to go. Still the 10 car of Asbel driving that 10 in honor of GRM Joker. Again, guys, take a quick second here, Wub and Kid Dynamite. Please go to GoFundMe.com if you can, and please give anything that you can, anything you can spare. GRM Joker unfortunately passed about a week ago, less than a week ago, and with the unexpected cost of his final arrangements, the family is very, very short. If you can give, please go to GoFundMe.com. Look up Anthony Lord, also known as Sly Job, and you'll see right now, I think they're just under $400. They need between $3,500 and $5,000. Joker's girlfriend Panda's been in the race all night, gracing us with her presence. Hopefully this race has been able to take a little bit off her mind. I know she mentioned earlier that she's been able to go down with the family and see him before everything is taken care of. But please go to GoFundMe.com. Give generously. Give what you can. They will absolutely appreciate it. This community has always rallied around everybody anytime they've run into any kind of a hardship. Be a shining example of that one more time to a guy and a family that absolutely need it. Again, we're Fatless Dig donating $50 on behalf of either a person that was correctly able to pick the top 3 and the eventual winning team, or if nobody gets that correct, that $50 probably, and I'm going to add a little bit to that from myself as well here in the next day or so. That'll find its way more than likely just in the name of Fatless Dig or American Ethanol, who he races for. But please go on over again. GoFundMe.com under the name of Anthony Lord, and please be generous.
Yeah, great words right there, Pete. I mean, this whole. I mean, we've been able to honor him in the community, and it's sad what happened, but this is a great opportunity just for everybody to kind of come together and support him. And it's really generous what Fatless Dig is doing with the predictions and the donation. It's just simple things like that we can try to make the best out of what happens. So, I just want to say in general, just this tournament, this summer has not been the best summer for most people between the pandemic, everything going on with racial injustice, and of course this, really hitting home with the whole NASCAR Heat community. But, this tournament has allowed us to all come together and just enjoy some good, hard racing each night and see it broadcasted and, interact with the fans. And it's really kind of helped fill a void.
Yeah, that's one thing that Slide Job has been hammering home in each race, that this tournament is meant to bring people together, and while he wants guys to be competitive and race hard, obviously, and all that stuff, and there's one goal for everybody, and that's to win the race, and obviously for your team to move on. But at the end of the day, again, this is for fun, and at the end of the day, this is just a game, and we're all here just to have a good time and just let the boys be boys, or let the girls be girls. I don't know if there's any girls out there in any of these leagues, but obviously, we're all trying to have a very good time, and obviously with the untimely passing of Joker, again, this donating funds to help his family with all the funeral funds, a good way to just kind of show your support and show why we're one of the best communities out there in the NASCAR Heat community.
I couldn't agree more. It's been phenomenal, and one more feather in Slide Job's cap, and I've been racing since EA 07. All right. NASCAR 07. 09 was the first game that I actually got online with. So I can say since NASCAR 09, no other person has been able to put together what Slide Job and Ford Tough has put together, where 42 different leagues or communities have come together and ran out anything like this showcase that we've been running here for the last several weeks. So it's a great undertaking. Takes a lot of time, a lot of patience, a lot of effort, a lot of different abilities. You figure there's got to be 400 to 500 different gamers out here running NASCAR Heat 4 and now Heat 5. Or actually, no, it's all kicked off under Heat 5. But you figure all the different kinds of people, different personalities that the admins and the two commissioners have had to deal with over the last stage 1 and halfway now through stage 2.
Yeah, I have to say, Slide Job and all of his admins and all that stuff, they've done a great job. I don't criticize them at all, because I know I would not be able to have the patience that they have, or the energy to deal with some of the stuff that they've had to deal with when it comes to guys just being sore losers and that sort of thing, trying to manage everything, because at the end of the day you can't please everybody, and they've done the best they can, especially like how you mentioned earlier, repeat, is that there's still a lot of growing pains. This is the first time that this has been put together on any NASCAR game, because my first NASCAR game was NASCAR 09. I'm on the younger side. I know there are probably some older guys out there that were playing, NASCAR Thunder and all that stuff back in the day. But my first one, being 19 in college, my first NASCAR game was NASCAR '09. But yeah, I've never seen anything like this before. We were able to get this many people together for for one big event. And this is only Xbox too. Imagine if we had cross-platform and any of that stuff. We get PlayStation on there. If there's any PC, I don't know if this is even on PC. You get PC on here. This could grow into something very big. If Xbox and PlayStation, if we can maybe get cross-platform going, I can only imagine of what this could grow into.
Yeah, it would be amazing if we were able to do that. I know the next gen console. I mean, they're not releasing all details of what's going to be available on the next gen, but it would absolutely be amazing if we could race the PS4 players or what might be the PS5, on the next gen. They said the new Xbox is pretty much going to be like a gaming computer. It's actually going to be able to rival some of the towers or gaming computers that some use for iRacing and whatnot. It's going to have a lot of different capabilities. So if we're able to cross-platform Heat, well, it's not going to be the next game's not going to be a Heat title. I think it's going to be like NASCAR 2021 or something like that. Lord knows I want to get rid of 2020 by now. But yeah, so I don't know if it's going to be it's being produced by Motorsports. So 704 is completely by the wayside. I don't know what the next title is going to be, but it would be very, very nice if it was cross-platform.
Yeah, that would be really cool. And, talk about the old games. I might be a young guy, but I actually used to play Thunder 2003 and 2004 on the GameCube. Yes, very archaic. But yeah, that's the first game. But I never really played online, actually, until NASCAR Heat 2. And I've really started to discover, the online community. Yeah, and, I've always thought it was really fun now over the past couple of years getting to meet all these new people who have the same interests as me, and this whole tournament is really helping to bring that together. And I do want to bring one little update that I just heard, and then there were three, because the 77 is officially out of the race. There are 3 cars left for the Piston Cup: the 24, the 48, and the 95.
What do we have left for American Ethanol? Any idea?
American Ethanol still got 7 going out there, which is, given what's going on, is pretty solid. But
yeah, man. But yeah, going back, I didn't know your first online game was NASCAR Heat 2. My first online game was back NASCAR the Game 2011. That game was, oh boy, those Utenics games. A lot of people really rag on them, but honestly, in my opinion, those games are better than what we have right now. I mean, NASCAR Heat 4 and NASCAR Heat 5 aren't bad games, in my opinion. Obviously, they need some touch-ups. But, I will say each NASCAR Heat game has gotten better in some aspects. I do credit 704 games for, being able to keep the game moving forward in the right direction. Maybe not as fast as we all want it to be. Obviously, going from the Utenics games like NASCAR Inside Line, NASCAR 14, NASCAR 15, all those types of games, which were really good. Honestly, the one thing that those games needed was an actual server. That's one thing that NASCAR Heat has that those old games didn't have, was that in those old games made by Utenics back in the mid 2010s, those were peer-to-peer connection, meaning that you could see some guys in the lobby, but then you might not be able to see 2 or 3 guys in there, which obviously caused problems, or you would lose guys in the race. So obviously there's the bubble and all that stuff too, and but hopefully with this next gen console, these NASCAR games can get back on the right track. I think with 704, like you said, Pete, being at the wayside now, we got a new developer, and we will have a new engine and all that. Hopefully we will get a very good quality product that will satisfy all of our wants and needs.
Yeah, bringing it back on track. Just saw a little bit of contact between the 95 of Rage Omega and the 2 of Nest. Not quite sure what happened right there.
Yeah.
I
got a little something on that, because they were. The 95 was trying to get out of the way of the 2, but for some reason, he didn't really know which lane to take. The 2 surprisingly tried to take the outside in the hairpin. The 95 decided to go up there because he thought the 2 would prefer the inside, and the 2 kind of booted the 95 off the track, and the 95 did a stop and go. So, that's really the first incident that we've really seen with a lap car, and honestly, it wasn't that bad. The 2 kept going, might have a little front-end damage that really hurt the 95, though, who is now, I think, 2 or 3 laps down.
Tennessee Vols, there is about 10 laps remaining. Still all the as-built show. He took stage 1. He took stage 2 right now with 10 laps to go, and he's only got 2 laps left in the tank. He's looking to run the complete gambit and take all 3 stages, just like he did in the American Ethanol race in stage 1. I believe that he would be the only one to do so far in stage 2. Again, I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. As my buddy HD Motorsports likes to say, just kind of wing it sometimes. I'm pretty sure that Asper would be the only one stage 2 so far.
Yeah, this is definitely a very dominant run by Asbill. As I usually always say, if you win stage 1 and win stage 2, you won't win the race, because I feel like winning those stages are always a curse, because I feel like you've dominated too much, and the law of averages say, all right, you can't win the one that you probably need to win the most, and that's the 3rd stage, or I guess the 4th stage in terms of Charlotte. But this is a similar performance to what I saw between the FFRL and I can't remember the other league that they faced off against in the first round, but there was one pro leaguer in there, Rowdy, I think his name was Rowdy Matt, and he dominated the whole race. He dominated stage 1, stage 2, and ended up winning the race. Almost lost the lead at the end because Slide Job was actually sitting there on his rear towards the end of the race, but he was able to hold off Slide Job, and he was able to take the win for his league, but his league as a whole didn't move on, as a FFRL was just very consistent with their guys inside the top 10.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember actually being one of those out there in chat for that race. But Wub, I've actually got something I'm going to throw your way. Mason Brown 1216 out there in chat says, well, this will be an easy bye week for American Ethanol. With the amount of cars out, I don't think American Ethanol can actually garner up enough points to actually take the bye. So even though they've put on a dominant performance, there's just not the volume of cars left on track in order to garner that many points.
Yeah, I mean, I know they got a lot of stage points early. They had that 88-22 advantage, which is going to help, but going in the long run, they did have also the first 2 cars to lag out of the race. They finished 17th and 18th. They had the last 2 finishing positions with the 14 and the 18. So just going by those singular points, the lag outs, it's not really going to help them. Piston Cup had 4 lag outs. They had 3. Yes, Piston Cup is playing at a man advantage, but a man disadvantage. But, American Ethanol hasn't really had their full squad either. So I think that's kind of going to balance out in a way. They're going to get a lot of points, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to compete with some of these other teams that we know have or will put on dominant performances here as we continue through round 2.
Yeah, round 2 is going to be very, very interesting. I mean, the servers have not been friendly to everybody at all. We've seen a lot of lag out tonight. We definitely saw a huge issue last night that wasn't settled until the very, very wee earlier, and I believe Alpha York didn't actually get set on the points until this afternoon. So many hours after that race ended, going through all the different clips. I'm sure it was a huge ordeal. Big credit to Alpha York and the admins from last night for doing everything that they could to make sure that was settled as fairly as possible. Actually, Alpha York out there in chat saying he doesn't want a bye for the super speedways. So very confident in his team, and after the way that they've dealt with this huge Canadian Tire road course, you can definitely see why. Yeah,
interesting that York doesn't want the bye. That was actually a talking point in my league for the SXRL, because we ended up, obviously we got the bye for this round, and they wanted to race the road course. I was sitting over there like, no, I don't want the road courses. Get me to the super speedways. I don't want to race those road courses. But they really want it to. Which honestly, it does kind of keep you. It does keep you kind of in the same rhythm, I should say, being able to kind of just keep going through each round, not having to buy. But I'm always a person of, hey, a free win, I'll take it. I will take the free advancement to the next round, wherever that may be. I kind of understand where they're coming from, though, in terms of strategy, because those super speedways can definitely be very tough, especially, with just how glitchy the game can be at times. Those super speedways can really be a wild card in terms of being able to really make your way up there, because anything can happen. A lag spike, a surge, or a guy cuts you off, and you get sent to the bottom of the track, and so just a lot of things can happen at those super speedways, and because of the way the game is, you can't make a mistake or else you're falling to the rear. So I kind of understood where they're coming from, but I'm more of a guy that just wants the free advancement to the next round, or the free dub any way I can get it. So.
Well, I'm also kind of surprised at not wanting to buy for the super speedways as well. I mean, if you think about it, super speedways, I mentioned earlier, it's the great equalizer. You could have a team that's not going to be all that great, but if they end up in the top, and it's easily done. Yep, it's very, very easily done. All you got to do is be an entire team on that bottom line, hug that yellow all the way around, try to not be too wishy-washy on and off that line. Don't touch the apron so it ups your car. And unless you can be that team to get the outside momentum rolling, you could go home and be the top seed.
Yeah, that's true. And, the other thing I noticed was people who didn't really want to be in this round with the road courses. But I think that's more of a league-to-league basis, because there's certain leagues where, there are guys who are just so stellar at road courses.
Yeah,
and then there's other ones. Yeah, and then, there's other ones, not so much. It's not really their cup of tea. But, but I agree with what you said, Pete. Like, the plate tracks, there's such a wild card in itself. So, that's the type of track. Also, we haven't really talked about this much, but when we could see maybe an upset happen, could Eastbar, could SXRL, I mean, we don't think it's going to happen, but if it was going to happen anywhere, a plate track would be the place where someone could kind of steal it away. Because, like you said, one lag spike could cause a big one at the end and completely change everything. So, you never know.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, I'm saying Godspeed to Slide Job and all of his admins or whatever, For Tough and Pride Dog and all them, because I feel like the super speedways is where we're gonna get probably the most controversial penalties and all that stuff, because again, a lot of weird things, really quirky things can happen, like I said earlier about cutting people off, because some people are just can't really hold a line, and they tend to kind of bump people off the track by accident, obviously not on purpose, or they tend to cut people off by accident trying to get down to that bottom line, and and because that bottom line is so valuable, you're gonna have guys just fighting to get down there, and and then you're gonna have guys going 3 wide trying to get a line going on the outside, because they're they're tired of sitting in the back the whole time. I'm really praying for Slide Job and all of them to have a very controversial less round when we get to round 3.
Yeah. Kind of curious what's going on with this 95. Been following him here for quite a while. I don't know if he's got a whole lot of motor damage or what, and he can't just get up to speed. I don't know anything about what's going on with this 95. He's trying to stay out of the way, but at times, like right now, he's in the middle of the track. Seen him kind of get in the way a couple of times. I'd be curious to know either from Boehner or Frydog what's going on with this 95. Why he's so slow, so off the pace. Only thing I can think is very, very red motor.
Yeah. He has a lot of damage, because there was a point while we were talking a few laps ago where he got clobbered by the 16 and ended up in the wall pretty hard on the front end. So that's probably what's caused some of this damage. He also made some pretty significant contact, apparently, according to what I'm hearing, with the 88. So, I think that's mainly just damage that, it's really just slowing him down at this point. But, credit to him, though, that he's sticking around till the final lap. Piston Cup only's got three guys left on the track, and he's still out there. He's struggling.
Trooper.
He's just inching around. Yes, trooper, that's the word.
Yeah, definitely holding on. I see Another just keeping up with Asbel right now. He's got 3 laps remaining. He's on lap 77 of 80. So, gentlemen, we are winding down to the last, what is this, 12 miles or something like that. I'm
Yeah,
guessing the
three
10
left.
car of Asbel will have to come on in pit road this time by, grab just enough gas to make it. I would imagine with the lead he's got, he's going to go ahead
Spot to go.
and grab
I think
four.
it's spot to go.
Yep, grab 4 tires. Watch the 16 of Honestly You're Bad work his way on by that 95. Again, a very, very close call. That Fraternal Orders of Eagles car almost ended up with a big old 95 sticker on his front bumper. But, you know, working around. The 10 is on pit road for the last time. So, again, Asbel running this 10 in honor of GRM Joker. Again, everybody, please, GoFundMe.com. Look up Anthony Lord. Give what you can as soon as you can. They need this. But, yeah, now what will be 2 laps remaining once he comes out of pit road. He did take 4 tires
4
and
tires.
fuel,
Yep.
and away we go.
Yeah, he's out of pit road, and the 16 isn't even into pit entry yet. So it just shows the type of lead, type of dominance that 10 cars had already. So unless he makes a very critical mistake here, I don't expect to see him lose this lead. Again, anything could happen. He could very unfortunately lag out. But right now it looks like the 10 car looks like he has this one in the bag right now.
Yeah, and
but
I'm
the
just
10
watching
was
the 90. I just want to say, I'm watching the 95 right now, who is literally just limping around the entire track. He might come to pit road here because this car is literally maybe reaching 100 miles an hour at top speed. He's really trying slow and steady wins the race, but with 3 laps to go, that's not going to happen.
No, not at all. And to your point there, Kid Dynamite, when Asbel came off pit road, he went through his menus real quick just to make sure that he had what he needed, and there was still 57 seconds back to
Between them,
P2.
yeah.
So
Mhm.
that is a colossal lead around this track when you figure that it takes you about a minute 15, minute and 16. On a side note, during the practices where I was able to keep up with Asbel, and I'm not talking about on track because I am horrible at these road courses. Just spectating him. Yeah, just keeping an eye on him that way. He was the first person out of anybody in either ethanol or NNR to hit the 114s. So this man knows how to get around this this road course.
Wow. Yeah, he is. Yeah, I don't know how he's doing it on setup 9. I'm assuming the wheel has a big part to do with that because I know for sure whenever I race at these road courses, the max I'll ever go is 5. I usually set around from that, usually around that setup 3 range. Sometimes I'll even go to setup 1 if it's really a track I don't really know as well. I'll even go setup 1 just to make sure I don't get as much wheel spin off the turns and all that other stuff. But he's doing it on setup 9, and he's been able to even manage his tires as well. That's really been one heck of a job from this 10 car.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's done a phenomenal job. 2 car looks like he completely overcooked that corner. I'm gonna guess something's going on with Finesse. Um, yep. I can one of
Oh,
you send me an invite back, please?
oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can one of you send
Yep.
me an invite back, please? And
Yeah.
all right. Let's see. In the meantime, I'll actually go ahead and pull up the stream from Asbel. As you see at the line this time, um, hopefully I can
Oh,
get.
everybody's lagging out. I
I
think.
Are they?
lagged out. I
Oh,
lagged out.
it looks like we had a big lag out. Oh, it happened. It happened. The big lag out
With
finally.
2 to
The
go.
server
Yep.
crashed. We
I
finally
was
we were
watching the
talking about it earlier.
95 going 40 miles an hour, and then he just
We were,
disappeared, and then I disappeared.
we were talking
Yep.
about it earlier, and it finally happened. There it is.
Yep. I'm on Asbel's car right now. You see the 16 on one end of the track. You see the 10 on the other. But that big message on the bottom with a yellow
Lost
yellow
server connection.
stamp, lost server
Yep.
connection. So yep, Kid Dynamite, as you just said out there in chat, rip. So
Yeah.
exactly what happened last night happened tonight. Yep, Boehner out there now saying the server crashed. We might have. I don't know if they're if they'll consider putting a hold on this showdown until these servers get up and running and are more stable. This is two nights in a row that they've gone down. We were able to keep an eye on the 10 for his last lap, even though it really didn't mean much.
Well, he got the win.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt. They got the win, but very, very unfortunate. After all that, with 2 laps to go, that happens.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely unfortunate. I'm assuming that they're probably just gonna call. I would not think that they're gonna run the last 2 laps here, and they're gonna get everybody back here in the last 2 laps. I believe based on the criteria, if we're past 75% and there is a big server crash, then they will just take everybody's position at the time of the lag out, which probably would have been the same if they just finished the race out anyways. So I believe the whole field cycle was ran through. So I believe that this is probably the race, but we'll have to wait and see what Slide Job and all the other admins do here.
Yeah, just like how the FFL and NAOR race landed on Alpha York shoulders last night. Tonight it'll fall on Boehner and Frydog to work it all out and make the right decision. But let me go ahead and bring this on back. I don't need that. Okay, so yeah, we're back here. Sorry, sat on Asbel stream a little bit too long. No big deal. But we're gonna get everybody back in the booth. The obvious winner there was the 10 car of Asbel. There shouldn't be any challenge whatsoever. But yeah, Fort Tough and Slide Job are really gonna have to dig deep and see if they want to postpone any of the immediate races. Maybe give these servers a little bit of time to straighten up. When Dohar was in here earlier, Wub, you heard him say that he had actually spoken with a couple of the people at Motorsports or at 704. Not quite sure if the companies have fully swapped yet or what, but yeah, they'll have to really think about this, whether they want to run the next few races here in the next few days with the very, very likely chance that it's going to end the same way. Just luckily, it was able to go to about 2 laps to go.
Yeah, thankfully, this isn't going to throw things off too much. I mean, we were 78 laps in, and it was pretty sure, every position. But like you said, this is a consideration. The other thing that people you also got to think about is that they just recently released that brand new patch which had a lot of stuff in it, and that's really when everything started to go a little crazy with the servers over the past 48 hours or so. But I heard another league, they had a crash mid-race with the servers, and of course this is the second straight night we've had an issue. But fortunately, we had a general idea of the finishing order here, as this was just with 2 laps to go. And fortunately, it lasted 78 laps, but, I mean, we did see a lot of lag-outs throughout the race.
Yeah, absolutely did. Yeah, go ahead, Dynamite.
Yeah, we saw a lot of lag-outs throughout the race, and like I said earlier, at first, I didn't know why we were all lagging out, because I hadn't been on the game in about a week or so I hadn't really been caught up with all the servers and how they've been doing it and all that stuff. But after hearing we've had problems last night and seeing the problems just we had the stage 1, I was like, oh god. And thankfully, I guess there's probably if it would have happened, that was probably the best time for it to happen with 2 to go, and Asbel obviously had the lead intact. So I was kind of worried at first because I thought he wrecked, but then he was just in pit road. I'm like, oh, there we go, we're all lagging out. So kind of a weird way to end the race, but I believe that they're probably just going to call it here, and we'll just say it was a rain-shortened race with 2 laps to go.
And very, very unfortunate, and I apologize, but it looks like that lag has also thrown off the immediate parts of the chat that had everybody's pick in there as well. So, actually, Boehner, are you here? No, I don't see Boehner yet. Let me see. Asbel, do you know who the top 3 were?
Yeah, it was me, Roro, or Finesse, and then it was me, Roro, and Finesse, pretty much.
Roro. Who's Roro?
Honestly, you're bad.
Honestly, you're
Okay.
bad.
All right.
I
Let me,
love that name.
all right.
Love it.
So yeah. Wub and Dynamite, if you guys want to go ahead and take the interviews, I'm gonna go through chat and see what I can salvage.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'll take the first one. I guess I'll start off
Yeah,
with
go ahead.
I'll start off with our race winner and then our Asbill. You got a copy for me?
Yeah, man. What's up?
Hey, yeah. So obviously dominant race. You know, you had got stage one, got stage two. Would have had the race, or unofficially you have the race win. Just tell me, you know, what your strategy was throughout the whole race, and how you were able to say so dominate, really separate yourself from the rest of the pack.
First stage, I ran a practice the other day and you ended up having to save one lap to go with just, I think it was just 4 pit stops or 3 pit stops, something like that. So I saved an extra lap. I was able to do it like that. And then, really honestly, the rest was just Joker, man. I was racing for him. So, I mean, I was glad I was able to got the chance to do that, for his family and his kid. I think he had a kid, I heard somebody say.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, it was just all of a sudden it was just crazy. I was glad I could race for him, and I'm glad I got the win.
Yeah, obviously, if there's any man to do it, definitely look to be you as you were able to put that 10 car in victory lane, a very dominant performance. And yeah, I saw, looking on your stream, you were able to save a lot of fuel. I saw there was one point, I believe it was stage one, where you were going neutral down the back straightaway, and it actually ended up helping you get the stage win because the 16 car had to save fuel, and you were able to pass him. I did hear that you were on setup 9. Is that true? Were you actually on setup 9 for that whole race?
Yeah, man, I run it every road course.
Oh man, so I'm assuming you run a wheel, right? That's what it
Oh
seemed
yeah,
like.
no doubt.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's probably yeah. Let's say I can't run setup 9 on a controller, but again, congrats on the unofficial race win, a very dominant performance, and hopefully we see you and your league on into the next round.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Yep.
All right, I'll take interview number 2 here, and let's see if we can talk to the driver of the 16. Honestly, you're bad 79. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, you weren't bad tonight. You were very good. You were right up there battling with the 10, the 2, the 24 throughout. Take us through your evening.
Yeah, so I mean, all stage one, all stage two, I was in second place, and then stage three, I think it was Asbel's bumper. I guess I just got so loose off of the exit of, I think it was the two right-handers. I got loose, and it just carried on from there. That was a terrible lap for me. So I had to take about 10 seconds worth of damage and just fell all the way back to eighth, but salvaged a second place tonight, which is awesome.
Yeah, well, great run for you guys and your team. I'm going to head out for now. Kid, you can take the rest of the interviews here with Pete,
All right.
but it was great to be here tonight, and just really had a good time broadcasting this one.
Yes, it was definitely fun having you in the booth. Have a good night, man. We'll see you around sometime.
Yeah,
Thank you,
see ya.
Wub.
Okay. Pete, are you back?
I am back. Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to salvage the beginning of the chat. So, I think let me see. Is Fatless? Yeah, Fatless. I think. Can you unmute, please?
Yeah, Pete.
Okay. What I'd like to do, if you don't mind, is actually go ahead and send that $50 in, with Panda's name on that.
Yeah, not a
Okay.
problem.
Okay. Yeah, appreciate it. I apologize, everybody out there in chat. If any of y'all had the correct top 3 and the correct winning team, unfortunately something happened there, either something with that lag or I don't know. But for some reason I can't go back to the beginning where that's never been an issue before. So if you did pick, congratulations. But either way, thank you very much for coming out, hanging out, chatting it up, playing along. It was definitely a great race. So who did we leave off with there?
We just finished off with who was it?
That was honestly too bad, right?
Yeah, just finished
Yeah,
the run.
yeah. So right now the guys we have left are Alpha York, Fatless Dig, Finesse, Geico Gamer, and Rage Omega.
All right. So who came in third on the American Ethanol
Finesse.
side? Finesse. All right. I'll gladly talk to the driver of the two, your pole sitter for tonight. Finesse, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing all right, Pete. How about you?
I'm all right, sir. Good to talk to you again. First off, you were pretty much the telltale sign with that something was about to go very awry with the servers. Watching you come off a corner, and all of a sudden you just bolted towards the wall. There was, and I knew that wasn't you unless your batteries died or something like that. And then more and more, and then all of a sudden you got a message behind the 10 car saying disconnected from server. But man, you sat on the pole, had a very, very strong 2 car all night long. Tell us about your race, please.
Yeah, I think I was one of the only ones not to lag out, but yeah, I've been off heat for a little while, so I'm out of my groove. Um, Honestly, just want to point out that that stop and go that I had was I don't know what happened. I just kind of hope for future races there's better calls in the booth because I honestly did nothing wrong, and just hope it gets looked at.
Absolutely. If there was any kind of an issue, you did the right thing by serving it. If that's what happened, but if you clipped it, they'll go back, they'll take a look at it, and if there's any kind of a points thing or whatever it is, they'll definitely take care of it. Both Boehner and Frydog, or I believe, were over that tonight.
No,
So
there wasn't any points that I lost. Maybe besides a position that I'm not really too upset about. I just
okay.
kind of want some better calls. That's all.
Yeah, they can go back, take a look at the video, and yeah, learn from it. I mean, there's a lot from season 1 that will go be learned from when season 2 starts. But man, you definitely had a great race. If you're just back on heat, and I think I messaged you a while back asking you another possibility, and you said not for me. So I'm glad to see you out here on track tonight. You got the pole, so if this is your welcome back, hell of a way to come back, man. Great job tonight.
Thank you, Pete. Nice talking to you.
You again, you also, man. Don't be a stranger, huh? All right, kid. You want to take the highest finisher from Piston Cup, please?
Yeah, I believe I don't know if that was Rage or if that was Geico. I believe it was. I'm not quite sure who was able to stay in.
I think it was Geico. He just unmuted first.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, Geico, you got a copy?
10-4.
Yeah. All right. So just take me through your race and how you guys were, or how you were able to, I guess, kind of survive and be one of the last ones, for your league and able to at least, stay out there as a running car.
Yeah. Well, the start of the race, we felt really confident. Well, obviously, it was a road course, so it could go either way. It's like a 50-50, like a plate track. So we just raced our race. We had a few lag out, a few leave. We knew probably about halfway that they got it by a long shot, because we're not gonna lie, they had us in the first half. They were all over the place. I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, like, they were like ahead of us by a lot, and that's good on their part. They obviously are talented, and they were the better team. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely a tough pill to swallow after you guys had a very good run at Charlotte over in the first round. I actually commentated that race as well for you guys, and yeah, you guys were really fast over there. You and the 24 were fast. So definitely a tough break here because unofficially you guys are looking to be going home, but still a very great run and good sportsmanship by you all, at least the ones that were left. So we appreciate you guys coming out and putting on a good show for us.
Thank you.
Yes.
I want to congratulate the other team and their owner for well, it's unofficial, but pretty sure we all know that they won the round. So congratulations to them and everyone who helped us get through this.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, thank you again. Thank you for coming out, and hope to see you sometime in the future, possibly for season 2.
Thank you.
All right, Pete.
All right, so next we're going to be Rage Omega. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
All right, Rage, how you doing, man?
Good.
Now you were in the I'm trying to
95.
There, yep.
Yeah, 95. Yeah.
I got it. Well, I'll tell you what. If there was ever a story of the tortoise and the hare, but what was up with your motor over those last few laps?
Let's just say I'm texting and driving. The race was over at the end of stage 1. So it was just, yeah.
He-
Put it in, put it
10
in, put it
4.
in gear
Enough
for him.
said. All right. Yeah, I mean, I'm watching you, and you're going through the grass. You're at a snail's pace. You pull back out on track. I see you kind of cross over the track, and you're still moving along. Here's the wall. You hit the wall, bounce off the wall, bounce off the other wall on the other side of the track. Almost collect one or two people, but I mean, the 16 was one of them. He almost left a big old 95 imprint on his front hood. But
Oh
man,
yeah, the 16, my boy.
um, man, I got to give you credit. Wub said the same thing, and so did Kid Dynamite for you at whatever was going on with your car. We thought maybe you just had a red motor and it was beyond repair, and you were just out there turning the laps, running it through, seeing it through, but man, congrats on sticking it out. I know what uh, uh, Geico just said about thinking that American Ethanol was just going to steal it from the first half of stage one. But, man, I think the servers took a pretty big toll on both teams. I would like to think that y'all just didn't back out because you felt there was no way you were going to keep up or get back into the points on the positive side. But, man, I understand that side too. Man, congrats on a good finish and sticking it out tonight, man.
Yeah, thanks for that. Just kind of disappointed after finishing top 3 at Charlotte and coming here, pretty much getting swept off the track. But that was a good race on their part. Good for them. Hopefully they win it all because they beat us. So GG to them.
Yeah, road courses are a completely different animal than Charlotte Motor Speedway. Completely. I mean, you can. Who am I kidding? You can't compare the two. Um, but man, you guys, you did your thing. You came out here. You put up a good show, good fight. You didn't make it to the next round, but man, congrats! And like Kid Dynamite just said, um, there's always next season, and I think next season is going to be bigger and even better.
Thank you all. Thank you all for inviting us and having a good time.
You as well, Kid Dynamite. You're up.
All right, so it looks like the last guy we got on here is Alpha. I believe he was the one, or yeah, I believe that's him. Alpha, you got a copy for me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, man. Just tell me, to kind of just give me a recap of the race. Or I know that whole race was crazy for everybody. And I know you were kind of typing in the chat as well. Giving your 2 cents and stuff that we were saying. So just again, kind of take me through your race and your strategy and how you were able to kind of finish this one out.
I actually gave up my spot for an alternate, so I didn't race. So I was watching the stream and I was the communicator for the team in the Discord with race control.
Okay. Yeah, I saw the ambit by yours. So all right. Well, is there anybody else? Have we talked to Fatless yet, Peter? No.
No,
I think
we didn't. No, I think Fatless finished. I'm not quite sure, but there should
I'm
have
just
been
the
one
owner,
more.
guys.
There
That's
should
all.
have
I'm
been
just
one
here
more
because I like
driver
the sound of
for.
Pete's voice.
I think there was one more driver Piston Cup that we hadn't talked to yet, wasn't there? We talked to Rage. We talked to Geico. I don't see any other drivers in here though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we got it.
Okay. So actually, then we're gonna bring. I don't see Frydog in here. We'll actually bring Boehner in as
he's there.
Is Frydog here? Okay.
Yeah,
we'll bring Boehner and Frydog in, and they can talk to the team owners.
Yeah. Hey, Pete. Thank you. Boehner here. It was an excellent race. Road courses are obviously hold their own set of challenges, but it was a great job by everyone. Most of the guys were serving the penalties just voluntarily. We weren't even having to call too many of them out. So really awesome job. Great integrity by everyone out on the track. No cautions. Pretty fantastic. Unfortunately, I do not have the points, the official points or tentative points just because of the lag out at the end. So as soon as we can get those and get some screenshots, we'll try to post those out there somewhere.
Okay.
How can we find you, Alpha York? And how long's your season? And what times do you run? And do you have any people broadcasting for you? Where can we find you?
I just lost connection to the Discord. I didn't hear what you said. I'm sorry.
I just wonder where we can find you and what nights you race and who broadcasts, so we can tune in and check out some of your drivers over there.
Right now, we're on summer break. We'll start up in about a month. I've been talking to a couple different guys about being our broadcasters. We're actually starting up an Xfinity series, which we're going to run on Friday nights, and then our Cup guys are going to run on Wednesdays. And we have a Twitter, it's American Ethanol Cup series, and we also have a Facebook too. So we have a lot of different guys from a lot of different backgrounds. So we all just pretty much come together and race.
Yeah, great to hear. You got a lot of fast guys in your camp over there, sir. And I always said it twice wrong already in the team owners chat. Geico Gamer, where can we find you at, man? And way to stick it out tonight. I'll give you guys credit.
Yeah, we're on Instagram at NASCAR Piston Cup Series. We have the Cup Series on Tuesdays and Thursdays with the Xfinity on Mondays. We're currently in playoff week, so every day of the week we have a playoff race until the championship race at Atlanta. Don't have any broadcasters, just an onboard car by me, but we're looking for some, so yeah, we're in season 3.
All right, yeah, their Instagram is up on screen. It's
Yeah,
the first one, the
Instagram or
bottom
Twitter. Yep.
left. Yep, NASCAR_Piston_Cup_series. So please look them up on Instagram and give them a.
Hey, Repeat, I think we got the owner in here too, Mr. Slide Job. Talking about something.
All right. Slide Job, how are you, sir?
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
Well, the race went pretty well without a hitch, no cautions, no real beating and banging coming through the hairpin or anywhere else. With about a lap and a half to 2 to go, the server decided to take a dump. So, yeah.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but we have to do the best we can with the situations that we're given, and a final decision will be released tomorrow as to what is going to happen. But obviously, I think it's clear to everyone that the last update that happened early yesterday has had some sort of effect on the servers. We're in contact with several of the developers from NASCAR Heat to resolve this issue. I'm supposed to hear tomorrow morning about what is going on with that and an update. But unfortunately, the bad news is for effective immediately, the tournament is on hold, which means that any upcoming scheduled matches, if the date, if we don't hear word back that something is fixed, the matches will be rescheduled. I cannot put any more drivers through an 100% road course race or a 50% road course race to find out that their entire match is invalid. So that's going to be a thing, and the big decision is going to be the last 3 races that were raced, including this one, unfortunately, or will be under review. So we will discuss what to do with them, because all 3 were affected. Everything before yesterday is going to be final. They were not affected by anything. The races ran smoothly without issues. Unfortunately for the 6 teams involved, whether or not how much they were affected, they were still affected, and we're going to take that into consideration. So for the meantime, stay tuned. We'll release, things when they come available to us. But for the moment, we are talking to the developers, and, the tournament unfortunately is going to be on hold. We don't want to ruin anybody else's races or affect anyone else's chances of moving on. So it sucks. I wish it was different. It's nothing that anyone in the tournament could have foreseen or controlled. So, it just is what it is. I'm sorry to say that. We're definitely doing the best we can to make this the most fair and fun event possible. We've had a lot of fun, and I think it makes us all appreciate how well round one went. 21 races in 2 weeks without a hitch, no issues. And this, I know a lot of people have spoken to me this round. Only 10 races has, it's been a roller coaster for sure. So, but stay tuned. We'll release as much information as we can when we get it. But, I'm sorry to say it, but yeah, we are on hold. So,
Gotta do what you
I
gotta do.
appreciate it.
Yeah, no, it's kind of funny that you say that because at the end of the race, as we were continuing to watch the 10 finish up his lap, I actually said something like that. Slide Job may need to make a decision whether he wants to continue on with round two, even with all this going on. So it may not sit well with everybody, but I personally feel it's probably the right thing to do. Um, and you as the commissioner with Four Tough and your admins can definitely sit down, hammer out the details, and go on from there. But I'm just gonna finish this up here. I couldn't talk to Wub and get his final thoughts, but I can definitely do that with you here, Kid Dynamite. Where can people reach you? Where can people contact you if they want? What series you run with? Do you broadcast or commentate races? How can people get a hold of the one and only Kid Dynamite?
Well, on Twitter, my Twitter is KMcCormick19. That's KMCCORMICK19. I'm on Twitter a lot, so you can probably catch me on there. I don't commentate any races, but I do commentate Michigan State's athletics and all that stuff. I do commentate for all that stuff for Big Ten Network. My stream is literally just my gaming tag with the underscore in the middle of it, so it's Kid Dynamite 185 with the underscore between it, between both words. Yeah, I do run the SXRO, which we do have the. Thankfully, we do have the buy for this round, so thankfully we aren't affected by the lag or any of that stuff. So I'm blessed about that. I do run in another league called the IXRO, which isn't in this tournament, but it's also another league that I run in that's very competitive. That league's going to start up in about a couple weeks or so. Thursday nights. Probably at 9:30 p.m. If you guys want to join that, you can contact me or contact the league owner, Smoking Knicks 24. That's smoking without the G at the end, and then Knicks as in the New York Knicks, and then 24. So again, if you guys want to join that, contact me or him, and that's all I got. So.
I appreciate that. As for me, guys, as always, I am the one and sole voice for NNR right now on bottom right hand side before Mr. McCormick. Repeat 1975. Please go ahead and follow me on Twitter. Next, I'll be live. Will actually be tomorrow night with the NNR Cup Series tryouts. The tracks haven't been set yet as of at least from what I know, but I definitely want to thank everybody that came out and was chatting it up. I'm glad to thank you very much, Worm Rider and Fry Dog, Alpha York, Boehner, and anybody else to help me keep a little bit of riot control. No, I'm just kidding. Again, everybody out there, I know there's only a couple handfuls of y'all left, and I appreciate you for sticking around. One more time, please go to GoFundMe.com. Look up Anthony Lord, also known as Mr. Slide Job, and please be generous. This family of GRM Joker, they got caught by this suddenly, and a sudden expense of $3,500 to $5,000 is a lot for anybody to come up with. Leaving behind a son. Please give generously. The $50 that Fatless did put up tonight, that'll go over in the name of Miss Panda, his girlfriend. She was out here in chat keeping up with everything tonight. I definitely wish everybody well. I will see y'all somewhere around the track. Please stay safe, stay healthy, keep your distance from everybody, wear your mask, do what you got to do, and I hope to see you around. Later, everybody.